Hey everyone, how's it going tonight? My name is Spencer, and welcome to Best Ball Draft Addicts. Tonight is going to be a really fun night. So we're going to be here doing something a little different. I'm bringing on in just a few minutes a guest, my buddy Brad, who some of you guys may know from baseball season. He was on and did quite a few drafts with me, and he also drafts over on the Stacking Dingers channel. Jason and Brad drafted Dinger, if any of you guys have seen that. So I'm going to have Brad on, and Brad is not typically a football guy, but he has a free entry for the Millionaire, and I'm going to help walk him through that team. And so I'm gonna coach him on drafting a Millionaire team. And then for anyone who wants to stay on, we're going to do some more drafts together after that. Undead Braden, how's it going, buddy? I always say Braden. Brandon, how's it going, buddy? I'm glad to have you here early with us tonight. All right. Well, without further ado, welcome to the show, Mr. Brad. How's it going, my friend?
It's going good, man. I'm happy to be on. I think you said sometime during the baseball season that you were going to get me to do at least one NFL draft, and I guess the time has come.
I did. It was the very last show we did together. I was like, I'm going to have you on at least one time. I know it.
And here I am.
I'm glad that it worked out. So
Yeah.
absolutely. Um,
So
so you are a big baseball drafter. You do a lot in the preseason, but you do a lot of dailies as well. How is dailies going for you this year?
it's I mean, I'm doing fine. I'm up a decent amount. I'm not doing as well as I have in the past, which has been a little bit frustrating. But I'm still up. I mean, there's nothing to be negative about. It's just you put in a lot of time and effort, and I think I'm, probably sitting like 10th or 11th in the earnings on that thing. Whereas usually I think I was like top three, and it's just been a rough year this year. But overall, it's still been fun, and I'm making money, so I can't complain.
Hey,
So
absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely. You have any lineups for today with Ryan O'Hearn in it?
he's not on the slate, but I do have. I was looking at it right before I got on. I think I was in like first, third, and fifth when I got on. I've dropped, so not doing as well anymore. But no, that was part of the early slate. Or there was that game wasn't on the slate. So the slate's like before 6:05 Central. You don't
Okay,
typically don't get those games. So
gotcha. Did you see what his game is
three
tonight?
home runs, I think 10
Oof.
RBIs.
Yeah, three home
Saw
runs,
that.
10 RBIs. What a game.
Yeah, I do have him on the seventh inning stretch, and I saw that one go flying up. So
Oh, that's good. That's
um,
good.
I just saw also just baseball news. I just saw. Did you do any seventh inning stretches? Just a few,
Yeah,
or
I did just five. I did
five?
five, and I
Okay.
did and that's how I got a free Millionaire too. So I
Okay.
clicked on that promo. Is that how you got this entry?
Yeah, that's how why I'm doing this is I got that promo for the Best Ball Mania thing. So I was like, well, better text you and figure out how to draft. Otherwise, I was going to hand my phone to somebody and be like, draft for me. So yeah.
Well, I'm happy that I'm going through with you and not Jason, because this is Brad from Jason and Brad Draft a Dinger, and Undead Brandon says he has that song stuck in his head for a week after your guys' show.
That song is pretty catchy. I'm not gonna lie.
It is. It is. Oh,
So
I'm looking forward to hearing it again next year, or
yeah,
actually, just a few months from now. We'll be back in baseball drafting season in what, November? Well, that's I don't. You
well,
guys, not Dingers though. Dingers will be
yeah.
what, January?
Seniors of January, February. I mean, that's
Yeah.
also saying like it's going to depend completely on this whole CBA deal, and
Oh,
I'm not
right.
expecting us to really get a full season. So I don't know what your thoughts on that are, but I just expect some sort of delay.
I'm living in denial right now, Brad. I am acting in my mind like everything's going to be fine and I'm going to be able to draft teams next year. But I know that this is also up in the air because we don't know.
Yeah, that's when you there's so much unknown. Typically, for me, I probably won't draft a bunch until we kind of have an idea on when the season's going to start. Quite
Yeah.
honestly.
I get it. That's the smart thing. I know myself. I'm gonna be drafting teams as soon as they open up, but I am gonna try and hold a good amount, especially of the dinger, until we get more information. But I'll be doing the cheaper contests, and I'll be doing gladiators. I know that over on NFBC. So, hey,
Yeah.
Hartman, what's up, buddy? How you doing tonight? So yeah, but anyway, well, I'm glad to have you on here and do this football. And so what we're going to do is we're going to jump into Millionaire, and then I'm going to help coach you through it and see if we can draft you a winner. This will be your one and only team for the year, so we got to make it a good one. First and last draft of the year. Can't hold anything back now.
No, exactly. It's gotta be perfect.
It's got to be perfect. So let me give you a brief rundown real quick on, well, first off, let me ask you this. In the past, have you done any football drafts?
I used to, yeah.
Before?
Yeah, I did. It's been honestly 5 years probably.
Okay.
Maybe longer.
Okay.
Maybe 6. Since I've really done any sort of NFL stuff.
Since you've really done much NFL.
Yeah.
So here on Underdog, here's the big thing with your drafts on Underdog. It's half point PPR. That's one. So you don't have a full point per reception. That's different from most other websites. You're going to draft 18 rounds. So it'll be an 18-round draft. Position-wise, that starts for the Millionaire. You're going to have one quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a tight end, and a flex. So that's what you're going to be looking like. And then the rest will be bench. So overall team construction, if you are trying to draft based off of giving yourself the most optimal chances at each position, the best way is a 3 quarterback, 5 running back, 7 wide receiver, 3 tight end. That's if you're giving yourself the most odds. What I've found a lot of success with is going with 2 quarterbacks, 2 tight ends, whenever I have 2 good ones that I like, and just stopping there and adding in extra wide receivers or potentially an extra to help build that depth at those positions. That's typically what can not only allow you to advance, but the way that and moving on in the playoffs works is you have to finish first or second weeks 1 through 14 to get a ticket. Once you move on and you get inserted into a random pod, and then you have to finish first, that's for week 15, and then week 16, and then the finals, which is week 17. So you're going to have to get through two individual pods to make it to the final week. So in those 2 pods that you have to advance, that's where you see the extra running back and wide receiver really can come into play the most, is having those options when you've advanced. Not so much a regular season from a just getting the ticket. That's where the 3-5-7-3 kind of helps you out with having more options in case of injuries or whatever. But like I said, I found the most success with teams advancing through the playoffs when you do a 2 and a 2. So that's what I have to say on that. And hey, Chad, how's it going, buddy? Ayo. And Chad says, oh, he's not going to be drafting with us tonight. That's all right, buddy. But
sometimes you need a place to sleep more than you need to draft.
That's right. That is exactly right. And we're always happy to have you on here with us. For those of you guys, we talked about this the other night, but in case anyone didn't hear, Corey is my normal co-host, Brad, for football. And Corey is at a work thing in Chicago tonight. He may jump on later if he gets a chance in his hotel room, but he wasn't too sure if he was going to be able to. So we may be without Corey tonight. So I'll be drafting by myself unless Duggar, who Brad knows from baseball, he might be jumping on later. I have messaged him. I hadn't heard back from him today, so I'm not sure. It may be just me drafting with you guys after this one. But without further ado, Brad, do you have the Millionaire pulled up?
I do.
I've got it pulled up too. So I am ready to do a countdown when you are, and I'll let you do the countdown, my friend.
All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
All right, here we go.
6
okay.
To go.
Yep, now we're at 4 more to start. So I'm going to go ahead and get the board pulled up here. These things don't take very long, so it won't take long at all, and we'll have this draft filled, and we'll be getting going. With football, these things usually fill sometimes within seconds. The smaller contests, it's hard to even do these streams where people are able to get on with us a lot of times because they just fill so quick. The Millionaire,
season starts what?
The season starts 2 months from now. So we're right at 2 months from now. It's September I think it's September 8th. I'm pretty sure is the first games on that first Thursday. So yeah, like 2 months from tomorrow, actually.
I gotcha.
Sorry, tomorrow's Wednesday. 2 months from this Thursday.
Okay.
And there it is. Draft starts soon. All right, so let me get the board pulled up for us here on the screen. What pick did you get, Brad?
8.
Number 8. Beautiful. And I see Undead Brandon is in. Glad to have you in here with us. He is actually drafting right next to you, Brad.
Gotcha.
And I got pick 12. All right. There we go. So
go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say, casual Chad was asking what my favorite team is. I mean, I live in Houston. I'm probably a Cowboys fan. It's just kind of the way I grew up. But honestly, it doesn't really matter to me. I'm not a diehard of anybody when it comes to NFL sports. I mean, I like the Cowboys, but I also hate Jerry Jones. Some of the leaders are kind of funny. So it doesn't really matter to me.
Yeah, America's team.
Yeah.
And Undead, he says, so I feel this is the only place I can say this and have it be appreciated. And you are right, sir. I do appreciate this. He has an Otani, James Wood, Cheerio team with 7 live pitchers. So that's huge. That's great, buddy. I love it.
That team's in first probably if I took a wild guess.
James Wood has been absolutely incredible. One of the best end of round 2 picks. And I'm sad to say I didn't have a high amount. Okay, Brad, you're up.
So is it something if you go receiver, you're going to get way behind the running back or?
Nope. Go receiver here would be my opinion. And I would go Amon-Ra. CeeDee Lamb is fine. I don't have a problem. I like Amon-Ra more. The reason why I say to go ahead and do this is how I've been drafting right in this range with these 3 wide receivers of Amon-Ra, CeeDee Lamb, and Jefferson. They are all 3 so good. They could be just as good as the 3 wide receivers who go above them. So if you get the chance to grab one, you see as you come around, there's this whole pocket of running backs in round 2 that are great running backs. So that's what I would do there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take James Cook, who I don't get very much of. And then I'm going to go with Brock Bowers, who is a guy that I like to spend up on a lot. And I'll move him up to the top of round 2 because I like to have an elite tight end. But now this is going to guarantee you one of these running backs. Now,
I wanted Devin A-Chain because I'm an Aggie.
A-Chain would have been great. I'm into Chase Brown or Derrick Henry over Ken Walker personally. I would go Brown or Henry, either one, and Brown.
Derrick Henry, I can't believe that dude's still playing football.
Oh, dude, I know. He's a freak of nature. He really is. So, normally all running backs, they are done by the time that they're 30 years old.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
Not Derrick Henry. He's just still chugging along just fine. I mean, this man is a freak of nature. And we're getting a couple comments here from Chad. So Chad says, he would have said CeeDee Lamb because he likes the schedule of the Cowboys. He says that he would avoid the Cardinals in general, which I do think is a good plan. The Cardinals are going to be one of the worst teams in football, most likely. And then he commented on my Brock Bowers pick because I'm not afraid. I try to get, especially in these millionaires, I try to get as much Brock Bowers as I can. He does say if you pick CD, you could have stacked Pickens. That's a dangerous playoff structure. Well, stacking Pickens with CD does not happen very often unless you do it in that turn of round 2. Yeah, you can't. It won't fall in the 3. That's the thing. I was
just looking at.
Yeah. So you are forced to make that stack to spend up and take him there in the 2. And I like personally to end one of the top 2 rounds with having at least one of these top running backs because I can push it to round 3. I've done it, but I don't typically like to do it. I generally like to have one of the better end running backs.
So ADP in football, I mean, with all we were talking about it kind of beforehand, just all the shows and resources out there. I mean, I would assume that it's pretty sharp. Is that correct?
You 100% right. It is
Yeah.
very sharp. So, especially here on Underdog, I've played at a lot of different websites, as you can imagine. And I typically find that, in my opinion, at least, I think Underdog is the best ADP out there, period. Uh, I think that it's really sharp all the time. People are on these things. There are so many draft addicts out there who are constantly doing these, and I'm one of them. But okay, we're coming back around here to your round 2 or your round 3 pick. So there's a few different routes that you can go. Now, we're 2 picks away. I won't say anything definitively until we get to you, because I don't typically like to jinx by saying things out loud. But I have a good idea for you here as to a route
I
to
think I
go.
know who I want to draft, but we'll see if the same.
Okay.
That's who you're saying.
All right. So
Would it be Higgins or
it
no?
would be Higgins or
Yeah.
McConkey. Yep, Higgins or McConkey. Now, the reason why to not take Higgins, okay, you took Higgins. I'm good with it.
Yeah. Well,
What I
isn't
was
Chase Brown kind of a receiving running back or no?
He is.
Okay, that's what I
And
thought.
now you can, in a few rounds from now, in round 6, you could
Yeah.
look to add Burrow to this team to have a nice Bengals stack. But what I was going to say, if you didn't take Higgins, I would have recommended Lad McConkey. And one of the reasons why would have been because Lad has a different bye week than Higgins does. Whereas right now you've got 3 straight 6s for buys. Now, that's not a big deal to start your team, though, to be honest. You're not going to be getting a lot of 6s as we move along into this. So I don't think it's that big of a deal at all to have this right now. I'm going to go ahead and double tap wide receivers. I'm going to do something that I don't do I'm actually not going to double tap wide receivers. I'm going to go Burden, who I don't take very often. And I'm going to go with Josh Jacobs, who I think is been underrated in the 4th round, because I'm not big on ETN. I do like Javonte Williams, though.
Didn't Josh Jacobs get like arrested or something?
Well, I'll touch on your pick.
Okay.
I like Mike Evans here a lot. If you want to go running back, I think Cam Scatabo or David Montgomery. I would go Evans, Scatabo, or Montgomery personally. Evans. So you saw like Buka went the pick before.
Yeah.
That's a good pick. These other wide receivers are also good picks. I like to bet on Evans because I think that he is in a great situation to continue being a touchdown machine now for a much superior offense in San Fran. Zero, hey, what's up, buddy? Glad to see you in here with us tonight.
Is Purdy still there in San Francisco?
Yes, Purdy is the quarterback. They've got a lot of good pieces. They're going to be a really good team. And Mike Evans is just so dependable. I have been drafting him as one of my higher drafted wide receivers. But I just believe in him more than I think a lot of these, like, for instance, Tet McMillan, he's awesome young wide receiver. Egbuka himself, awesome young wide receiver. Garrett Wilson, great young wide receiver. But they all have, well, Tet and Garrett, they have suspect quarterbacks and team situations. Whereas, again, Mike Evans is in a beautiful spot. Chad says and Ayuk is going to retire. He crashed out at Jaden Daniels. Yeah, Brandon Ayuk is going to be a non-factor for the 49ers. And here's the thing with Jacobs, by the way. He was not arrested. He was had like some sort of domestic thing come out about him, but no charges actually filed, and everything's sort of been swept under the rug since it initially came up. So Corey and I have discussed this, and we both are under the full assumption that there's not going to be anything as far as any sort of suspension or nothing for him. So it's actually because of that news that's pushed his price down. Otherwise, he probably would be going at the top of round 3. And Zero says the marathon streets are fun. Have you guys tried any? I have, and we will talk at this draft about what we want to do, if we want to do marathon or possibly Superflex after this, or continue the Millionaires. All right, buddy.
Is Tootin good?
Tootin is good. Yep. I was going to say, since you have 3 wide receivers, I'd take another running back. Tootin would be the answer. Yep. So the reason why I'd rather have Tootin than Quinshon personally at this point as we stand, Quinshon's coming back from a devastating injury. All of the news around Tootin is good in the sense of he's set up to get high workload. It's my pick, by the way. I'm going to take, let's see here. I'm going to do a Bears thing, which I don't do very often. This is very rare for me. And since I had Burden, and I'm going to take Odunze and Caleb Williams here. That's a very rare thing for me. I don't dive into the Bears all that often. And then for you here, Brad, I
was going to take Burrow.
This is the round to take Burrow. Yep.
If he doesn't get taken. But...
Right. But yep, this is the time to do it. All right, there you go. So you're with Burrow.
That means I kind of can't draft Jared Goff, though, because they have the same bye.
Correct.
So,
you could look at Purdy.
Yeah, and starred.
You could also then add in George Kittle. And I like doing that. So that could be one of your tight ends. We'll see about who your second tight end would be. I would say you probably want a better one than you don't. You could always do a 3 tight end build. But with Kittle, I usually like him as my second tight end if I already have a better one above him. And if I wait and he's my first, then I usually like to do a 3 build because Kittle is also coming back from injury and nothing is guaranteed there. Cool Smurfer. Hey, what's up, buddy? How you doing? And Zero mentioned marathon is fun because if you guys want to do it after, because we aren't fighting over advancing. Yeah, it's just all of us about drafting the best team you can. So yeah, I would be down. So you guys let me know after this draft and we'll talk about what we want to do. All right, Brad. So you're filling out a really nice start to this team. I really like what you've got going. What I was going to say with Burrow is if you get Purdy or you get a good second, I would stop at the 2 and not take a third QB.
Okay.
If you end up getting sniped, then we'll talk about it from there, right? If you end up having to push QB and do a 3 build. With this next go around, it probably would not be a bad time to look at RB3 if one of these 2 RBs that's on the board makes it to you. And if not, then we'll discuss some possibilities for what to do. I have an idea for you. I don't want to say it out loud.
Is Chris Godwin good or not?
Yeah, I'm a Chris Godwin fan. Now he's older. A lot of people are off of him because of him being, 31 or 32 this year.
Gotcha.
He has had some injury problems in the past. But he is really good, and he's in a good situation with Egbuka to be the 2 primary reception targets of Baker. Chad said Blake Corum has good news around him. Oh, nice. Okay, so you're 2 picks away. You're guaranteed one of these 2 running backs. I would take Warren or Hubbard. Both of them have different buys. I like Warren more than Hubbard, but I think it doesn't matter. There you go. I would just take Hubbard. Now you're sitting with a 1-3-3. And when we come back around here, this is the Purdy spot for the comeback around.
Gotcha.
All right. Chad said he also would have gone Warren there had he have made it. Okay, so now we're to me. I think I'll probably do what I just told you because I like Godwin. I'll go ahead and take Godwin. Now I have 3 wide receivers with a bye 10 though, so that's going to be a problem. So I'm going to need to make sure that I add wide receivers that don't have a bye 10 moving forward. I'm going to go ahead and take my 3rd running back and get Rico Dowdle. But yeah, I pretty much hamstrung myself from taking any other week 10s. At this point, I've got to do an 8 build probably at wide receiver. Okay, there went Herbert. So now Purdy is the second to top quarterback on the list. He should make it to you here. There goes Blake Corum. All right, there you go. So you're going to be able to go ahead and get Purdy. What I was going to say, if Purdy would have went, I was going to tell you could have pivoted to Tucker Kraft and just went ahead and grabbed your first tight end, or Sam Laporta. Either of them would have been a good tight end one option if Purdy was gone.
I feel like I remember Sam Laporta's name. Like he was kind of coming in the league around the time I really quit paying attention.
Yeah, it was. I think his first year was 4 years ago. I think it was the 22 season. So,
but yeah.
And he burst onto the scene as a rookie. He had a really big rookie season, and he's been good since then, but he's not quite lived up to that rookie season since then. A lot of people are really into him this year, and I think for good reason. I haven't been taking a ton, but I've been trying to make sure that I get shares here and there. In baseball, by the way, on the BBMD website, I haven't checked it here this week, but like a week or two ago, I was on here and pulled up and looked, and you are in the top. Me, you, and Jason were all in the top 10 in most advancing teams. So that's pretty awesome. We're doing good in baseball, my friend.
Yeah, it's held up pretty well. It's I keep thinking every day it's just going to fall apart. But it's been a good baseball dinger season, I guess, so far.
Yeah, we're holding strong. Good advance rates moving in.
I did the 7th inning stretch, and I drafted 70% Canzone. They just announced today that he's going to start playing full time.
Hey, nice.
Because that's kind of what I was banking on. Just because he hits the ball so damn well.
Oh man, and I don't know if you can remember this. If you were to say who's the one guy that I told you I didn't see the power, and you said I think that the power can come, and you were right. Who is that player?
I don't remember.
Miguel Vargas.
Miguel Vargas. Yeah, I have a lot.
Yeah, you had a lot of Miguel Vargas, and I just didn't believe he had the upside, and I was wrong. You were right about that one, my friend.
He's been quite the good one for me. I got my pick.
Okay, so there you go. There it is. Yep, I have no problem with that whatsoever. I was gonna say what I was gonna say before you did it is if you wanted to try to push it around, since you knew I wasn't gonna take him, that only left the other 3 teams. You could have tried to take Pearsall and then tried to push it, and I would have not taken him. But either way, though, you got him, so I'm good with that.
I didn't see that dude. Never heard of that dude.
Okay, so Ricky Pearsall, yeah, he's just another 49ers piece. So I'm gonna go ahead and take. This is my highest drafted player this season. It's Kenneth Gainwell, who was on the Steelers last year. He's going to be a big pass reception guy, at least I hope now on the Buccaneers. And then I need another wide receiver that's not by 10. I'm going to grab Jacoby Myers and just get a good 4th wide receiver with not a by 10 here. Okay. So I've got a really good idea for your pick here. We're only a pick away, and I hope this guy doesn't snipe it. I think I've got a great idea. All right, beautiful. This is what I would recommend for you to do, Brad. It would be Rachaad White or Kyle Pitts. I would go Rachaad White or Kyle Pitts.
I was going to go Kyle Pitts. So I think I'm just going to take him.
Then do it. I think both of them are really good picks. Now that you have Kittle and Pitts, again, you can be done. So at this point forward, you can just draft running backs and wide receivers. You could probably do a 2-5-9-2 or a 2-6-8-2. That would be the structure that I would say. So depending on what running backs you're able to add can kind of make the mind up on if you do a 5 or a 6 build. And it's easy to add wide receiver guys at the end. There are always wide receivers you can take a flyer on. Running backs will dry up way before. just like in baseball, how you can always wait and find infielders at the end.
Yeah.
But it's really hard to find good outfielders. That's how it is with running back versus wide receiver.
Gotcha.
You'll always find wide receiver options. Running backs are hard to come by.
Okay.
Earlier, Chad said, you should go get Rico Dowdle, Brad. And then he said, oh, Spencer, you got him. And then Pearsall, he just made the comment, you just need him not to be shot. And that's
he's the guy who got shot. I forgot
the
about
guy
that.
who got shot a couple years ago. Yes. And then he came back and he played like 6 or 7 weeks after being shot in the chest, which is crazy.
I think I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, that was a big thing. And 0-0, he liked my Godwin pick, I think. Got 0 sometimes is just like there's that. I know. Love you, 0. All right, so Brad, as we're coming back around to you here, again, this is the point where, again, we're only looking at running backs or wide receivers. Honestly, the top running back on the board, I do think would be a good one. He has a different bye than your guys as well. You have bye 5, 7, and 6. Okay, you do have 6. But that's all right. You could take another 6 unless you wanted Tracy to take a different bye. But I'm fine with taking another running back of bye 6, especially if you are going to end up doing a build of 6 compared to 7. Or, I mean, 5, sorry.
So you really do, I guess, kind of have to be careful about bye weeks. I didn't really think about that at all.
You do, but also you need to overly sweat it. You take at it. So at running back, for instance, if you're going to have 5, then it really hurts to have 2 guys of the same, right? If you're going to have 6, it's really not a problem. You're going to have 4 options on that week that 2 guys will be out. But you always have to prepare for if a guy is hurt or if a guy just sucks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So by the way, I'm up. I'm going to go ahead and grab Malik Willis, who is a career backup quarterback, but a great rusher who I like to gamble on. And then let's see what I want to do for my next one. I'm going to take another wide receiver, I think. Yep. And I'm going to go with Jalen Coker from the Panthers. He's a week 5. Again, I already have 3. So whenever I have 3 of the same buy at wide receiver, I don't like to have just 7. I like to have 8.
So do I take this Tracy guy or?
Yeah, I think Tracy here. Mitchell is a good pick too. It's because it's fine to take another 7. Either Mitchell or Tracy. Either one. There you go.
I think Skataboo or whatever his name is going to suck, and that guy will be better.
There you go. And that's also something that you can play at with this lineup is that Skataboo, maybe not that he sucks, but that he gets re-injured because he had a devastating injury last year, like the type of injury where his leg or foot was turned around backwards.
Okay.
And he's already back. Like he's recovered and he's young, but he's a balls to the wall type of player. So re-injury is so incredibly likely that I think that taking Tracy is a good pick there. And like you said, he's a different buy. So, oh man, Chad just says Wheeler has 14 Ks right now.
Yeah, I just saw that. And to think, I kind of like stacking Cincinnati a little bit today. Clearly, I was not very smart.
I was going to say, that's who that was against, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't have that much, but I had a little bit.
So when you do the dailies, Brad, how do you do it? How many lineups do you typically do for like a daily contest?
I mean, I try to max, but nowadays I have a harder time getting to maxing than I used to. And I think I'm a little worn out as part of it. But like today, let's see, I could have done 150 and I think I got to like 90.
How do you do those? Is that because you don't have time to literally sit there and draft a team? How do you get that many done in a day?
I just do it in spurts. I'll do like, I can crank out 50 in an hour and I'll do 7 to 10 at a time.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm cranking a bunch out at once when I do it.
I see.
So yeah, I have little strategies of how I don't like track it, but I try to, spread out. I'm not like overly. Some people just draft like the same people over and over again. I don't do that.
We're getting ready to come to your pick.
Yeah.
I want to come back to ask you some more questions about how you handled the dailies. But as we're coming to you here, so if you did want to go and get your final running back, you could do that. You could get your sixth and final running back right now with either Spears, Coleman, or Algier. I think they're all good
Who
options.
is Coleman, a rookie or something?
Coleman is a rookie. Yep. And the reason why his upside is J.K. Dobbins is their starter, who's perennially
He's
been
always
hurt.
hurt.
So, yep, Jonah Coleman is kind of a bet on Dobbins' injury play. Because if Dobbins does happen to stay healthy, well, Coleman may not do that much. But if and when Dobbins goes down, then that's when Coleman's role could really emerge on the team.
So now I can just draft a shit ton of receivers.
You can. Now you're just going to fill out receivers from here. Absolutely. The rest of the way. And for me, I'm going to. So I'll take Algier, the one that I just suggested, and then do I want? Let me see. Do I want a sixth running back? So whenever I have Brock Bowers, I don't typically like to spend up on my second tight end, and I always only just take two. But I'm going to take Juwan Johnson because I don't have a lot of him, and I'm going to go ahead and get that done. So now we're getting ready to come back to you here. We're going to grab wide receiver again the rest of the way.
Is Stribling somebody I should draft since I have the quarterback?
Yes, I'm very big on Stribling. He was their first pick of round 2, especially with the Brandon Ayuk news. I've been counting on Stribling being good. Well, I will say this though. Trey Harris is a good pick who has a bye 7. Ryan Flournoy is not a bad pick, who's Cowboys. He's their third wide receiver. Debo isn't terrible. Stribling, there we go. He's one of my higher drafted guys. I have been going in on him because I've been trusting in the investment that the 49ers put in on him. And you have the 49ers build. So with you having Purdy, Kittle, and Evans, just makes sense. Go ahead and add Stribling. When you get to the last round, you can also consider Christian Kirk, who goes in the very last round.
Ooh, he's an Aggie.
And and he signed with them as well. So you could take 3 of those 49ers pieces.
He's really fallen off.
He's really fallen off. But I do at least think there's a chance that he could have some sort of emergence back this year, which I don't take him a lot. But every once in a while, I'll put him in with a last round pick.
Do you pay a lot of attention? I mean, I don't care to know this or anything, but do you put into like the playoff stuff and all that, the matchups and stuff?
Great question. So I keep right here next to me for every draft. I keep a paper where I have it all wrote down, and I will eventually. I usually have it memorized once I've done it enough. I don't put a ton of though in. So whenever I do, it's on specific builds. Like there will be specific teams that I go into where that's what I'm looking to do is to focus on playoff matchups. But in general, whenever I'm just sitting and drafting and just sitting on my phone drafting, I generally just try to build the best teams that I can and not worry so much about playoffs. There are different formats of leagues. Like there's something called Sprint, which the playoffs, instead of individually week by week, are weeks 15 through 17 as a whole. So for those, I really do try to focus on the schedule of those 3 weeks and the teams that have the best schedules. We're a pick away from you again. So my favorite pick here, Brad, would be Zachariah Branch.
That's who I was going to take. That's how I started.
Beautiful, beautiful.
I saw that he's fast.
He's very fast. I always say he's fastest kid alive. And he's got a good potential role on the Falcons. He could be their wide receiver number 2, and he could get a lot of dump offs. And you have Pitt, so it gives you double Falcons pieces, which the other thing with the dump offs is if Tua stays their quarterback, he can really get rid of the ball quicker. He has that in his game set to just do a lot of screen passes. Kind of like he did with Achane there for a while and Waddle.
Yeah.
It's coming back to my pick here. I am rocking the 2-5-5-2 build. I could do a third quarterback if I chose. And if I did, it would probably be Aaron Rodgers here to go with Caleb and Malik Willis. That's probably a smart move to do.
Why does
Yeah,
Cooper Cup go so late? He doesn't
I
seem
think
like
I'll do that.
he seems like he's still decent.
Um, so that's a great question. I love Cooper Cup. He's one of my favorite all-time players. But last year was a major fall off. Like
Gotcha.
the quality of how good he looked really bad. He had a ceiling last year of like 8 points in this half point PPR. So could he be better this year? Yes. Is it worth counting on with him being 33? Probably not.
Is Jerry Jeudy good?
No, I would take Dontavian Wicks. That would be my suggestion for you. He's the guy who could emerge in the Eagles offense. And I've been taking a lot of Dontavian Wicks here. He's someone I really believe in. Former Packer who went over to the Eagles. And with them getting rid of A.J. Brown, that's my favorite pick right here as of this point. Back to Cup. So he's just sort of washed. If you do take Cup, the only way I would gamble on him is if he makes it to the last round and you're doing an 8 wide receiver build like this. And at that point, it's like, well, you never know. Maybe he'll give you a 12 or a 13 point game, maybe. But I like to take guys that have the potential to, if the situation hits right, that they could really explode. And I just don't think Cup is that anymore.
There's no way OBJ is still playing, is he?
Yeah, Chad is he's kind of joking there, but he also takes, so OBJ has not played in 2 years, but he signed a deal with the Giants and his old team, and he is going into camp having a chance to make the team.
Really? The Giants still suck?
Yeah, they still suck, although they have the potential to be good with if Jackson Dart and Scatabo and Neighbors, if Neighbors is healthy, that would be big. But so they have potential, but they also may still suck. I have not been drafting OBJ at all. I'm not clicking his name. But Chad has he's a big Giants fan, so he has a weak spot for him. And then Who Hames, what's up, buddy? And Zero said Bateman clears, so he's suggesting maybe a last round Bateman. I have not
last pick.
No, you have two more. You have two more. So I have not been looking at taking Bateman much, but I don't think it's terrible in the last round. So as we're
that guy, Kayshon Boutte, wasn't he like a really good college dude?
Yes, and I do like taking him. Now, he's in a crowded situation with the Patriots bringing in who they have, A.J. Brown specifically, but there's a chance Boutte could still be traded. There's been rumors of that, and I do think he's a good player. I think he gives you upside, so I think that's a good pick that I don't mind making at all. I generally like some of these rookies here, like Elijah Surratt for the Ravens. I think is a good one to take. But yeah, Chad just said, yeah, Boutte has trade rumors. See, that's where Boutte could get the best situation unlocked if he were to get traded to another team.
And then I plan on taking Christian Kirk as my last pick. Is that still okay?
Yeah. Yep.
If
absolutely.
He's still there.
Absolutely. And Zero says, kind of crazy. We draft 4 Jaguars receivers and only 1 Ravens. Well, I like I said, I take Surratt a lot. And this is for you, Zero. I'll go ahead and grab me some Bateman on this team, who's someone that I have really taken a lot in the past. And then for my team here, who do I want to throw in at the very last one? You know what? I'll just take both of those Ravens guys, and I'll take Surratt also. So, but Surratt is the guy that I like the most. Who Hames just said, yeah, Surratt the move. Yeah, I'm a Surratt guy. I went ahead and grabbed him, and I grabbed Bateman for Who Hames. So I got both of them there. Both of those were different buys. And then now we're a pick away from you being able to go ahead and grabbing your guy. There it is.
Oh, yeah, I got the Aggie again. How many Aggies did I get? One, two, I think two.
There we
Oh,
go. Well,
yeah.
buddy, let's go take a look at your team. Let's go take a look at the finished product. I really like how this turned out for you. I really hope that this pans out and you get a ticket. So,
Yeah, I'm not counting on it, but
hey, well, you know what? We'll be talking about it when we do get together for baseball. We'll be talking
yeah.
about. I'm sure I'll message you and we'll talk about it before then.
I gotta
Um,
say, have you seen who's the king of our solo shot?
yes, the king of our solo shot is.
It's
I'd have to.
me.
Oh, you moved to first.
Yeah, I'm way in first now.
Oh, well, then
Because I
that's
had
happened.
Swanson and Alvarez. They both had those massive weeks in a row.
Oh, you have Swanson on that team, huh?
Yeah. So
You dog.
there's that 2 week stretch where he scored however much. Let's see.
It was a lot.
I'm in second now, so I fell off, but I'm 20
Yep.
points behind the guy in first, and I only have 40 points this week. He has 230.
Wandering Penny. Yeah, that's the guy who had been in first for our solo shot for most of the time. But
Yeah,
no, that's great. I'm holding on. My
you
team
are
has
with that pitcher
oh
catastrophic.
dude, absolutely. The catastrophic pitching staff, and on top of the fact my first round pick was Ronald Acuna, which also has been
Oh
a
yeah,
disaster.
forgot about that.
So but I'm in fourth. I got a
Yeah,
ticket. All I got to do is survive, get that
yeah,
ticket,
and you have Scuball back, so that's good.
and I got Scooble back. Yep. So, and who knows? Maybe Crochet will be back for the playoffs, but I doubt it.
Yeah,
All right. So, hey, Bayou, what's up? How you doing, buddy? Great to see you in here tonight too. Um, Lane. Oh, you're talking about Jacoby Lane. That's another one of the Baltimore guys. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to move the comments off the stage for a minute. And Brad, I want to go through your team. So,
all right.
guys, this is Brad's one and only football team of the year. Glad that that you did this here with me, my friend. And like I said, I hope that I guided you to a winner.
Me
Um,
too.
so here's what we got. So you got Joe Burrow and Brock Purdy. You got two really good quarterbacks, both guys that I think have league winning ceiling. And you don't need a third, in my opinion. You've got them stacked as well, which we'll go through those pieces. The running back room, Chase Brown, Bashal Tootin, Chuba Hubbard, a good solid top three. Then you go Jordan Mason, Tyrone Tracy, and Jonah Coleman. The only week that you have multiple buys, round 6. Mason has the chance to take over. Like you said, if something happens to Scatabo, Tracy could take over. And if something happens to Dobbins, Jonah Coleman could take over. So even if your last 3 running backs don't work out to start the year, they could have the situation open and they could help you out towards the back half of the season. Your wide receivers, you did the big 3 at the top with Amon-Ra, T. Higgins, and Mike Evans. T. Higgins and Evans, both stacked pieces. Amon-Ra, who I think is the potential to be just as good as any other wide receiver. And then you did a bulk build with pushing it to 161, going with a few rookies and some veterans. Stribling and Zachariah Branch, 2 of my favorite rookies to draft. Stribling a stack piece as well. Getting Dontavian Wicks, Kayshawn Boutte, and Christian Kirk. Kirk as your third wide receiver for San Fran. And then the 2 tight end build, 2 elite tight ends of Kittle and Pitts. Hopefully Kittle won't miss any time, but even if he does, Pitts can help get you by, because I doubt Kittle would miss more than 2 or 3 weeks to start the year before he's back playing. But even if he's not fully back for the first couple of months, Pitts is in a good enough situation and he doesn't have a bye till week 11 that as long as Pitts stays healthy, he can carry you just fine at the tight end room until Kittle starts really cashing in. So, buddy, I think this team has a lot of top to bottom potential. And again, I'm hoping the best for you, my friend.
Yeah, thank you for helping me do it. So I appreciate it.
You are very welcome. I'll do a quick run through of my build. So I did a rare Bears thing. I did a 3-5-8-2. Caleb Williams. Then I waited at QB Malik Willis and Aaron Rodgers. My running backs. It's a good room. It's a fun room. It's not the best, but it starts off real strong with James Cook and Josh Jacobs. Then I went Rico, Kenny Gainwell, and Algier. Gainwell and Algier, two of my favorite later pieces to grab. Running or the wide receiver room, I did 3x10s to start. So that's why I went ahead and did 8 instead of 7 to make sure that I had plenty of non-by-10 options. But my first two pair with Caleb, Luther, and Rome. Then I grabbed Godwin, Jacoby Myers, Jalen Coker, Jeremy Bernard as a pair piece with Rodgers. Then I went with both of the Ravens guys, Surratt and Bateman. And my two tight ends being Brock Bowers and Juwan Johnson. Anytime I draft Bowers, I always just do 2. So I'm pretty happy with the way this one worked out. And you know what? We could both get tickets and move on. And then maybe we'll just see each other in the final week of this thing.
Yeah, sounds great to me.
Oh, man. Well, Brad, buddy, this was super
thank
fun.
You.
Very, very happy to have you on tonight.
Yeah.
And yeah, this was a BBM. Yep. So we just had a question. Was this a BBM? And then Zero says, time for some marathons. Absolutely, my friend.
Well, I appreciate you letting me on. I know you got to get to these guys, and thanks for letting me come on and take up an hour of your time and just kind of talk me through that. So that was fun, and hopefully I win one, and I'll give you some money if I win one.
Hey, no, absolutely. Well, you know what? I appreciate it. Well, buddy,
all right, man.
Super fun. You have a great one, and I'm sure we'll talk later on.
Yeah, talk soon. Bye.
See ya. All right, so I realized here, I'm so sorry, Undead. Yeah, I forgot to look at your team. Let's go do that real quick. Let's go pull up Undead's team from this here. Let me get this back on the screen, and then we're going to go and jump in. And yeah, we can do us some marathons together. All right, so let's look at Braden's team. I always say Braden. Gosh dang, I've just got to say Undead. All right, Undead, let's look at your team with a 2-6-7-3. So your two QBs being Dak and Jordan Love. Love that. Your running backs being A-Chain, Breece Hall, Quinchon, then C-Rod, Spears, and Jalen Wright. An interesting Jalen Wright piece to go with A-Chain there. I like the start to that quite a bit. You've got some big upside at the top, couple nice depth pieces with C-Rod and Spears, who obviously have the situations that could open up for him later in the year. CeeDee Lamb, Emeka Egbuka, Marv with Downs, Golden, Omar Cooper, and Tank Dell. Very solid top to bottom wide receiver room. You've got good differentiating buys. CeeDee Lamb and Marv both out in week 14. Hopefully that doesn't help prevent you from getting that ticket in that last week. And then Mark Andrews, Greg Dulcich, and Mike Gesicki, which is a super solid tight end room where you waited. I think Andrews is a good one to wait on and still get. I'm into Dulcich as a breakout guy. And then grabbing Gesicki is a fine piece. I don't absolutely love the Gesicki piece, but I've taken him every once in a while too, as someone to just pick for the last. Maybe he gets you some points. So top to bottom, my friend, I think you've got a really good team as well. All right. Well, that was great. That was a great draft. Okay. So anyone that wants to do a marathon, we are going to jump in a marathon. Before we do, let me real quick, I'm going to message, let's see, Corey texts me and says, I'll let you know when I won't be on camera if I get back in time. Okay, so Corey looks like he's not going to be able to jump on, but he may get in the comment section later. Let me see real quick, because Duggar was maybe going to come on and draft on here with me. Let me see if he's going to, because he has not jumped in. Let's see if he answers. He's got kids, so he may be busy, and we may just be doing this. Okay, that's all right. I'm going to just tell him, jump in if you can. All right. Okay. All right. Well, guys, it's going to be just me drafting with you here. So let's go ahead and pull up the marathon, and then we're going to do a countdown, and we're going to jump in this thing. All right. Sometimes you just got to fly solo, my friend. That is right. Let me get the comments back up here for us and pull this up here. Okay. So we are going to marathon draft. This is the Frenchie Marathon. It's a $5 draft. It's already getting close to being filled, 70%. Crazy with the 150 max tournament that we're already at 70%, but only 22,000. I guess that makes sense. The Chihuahua's already gone. I'm sure you guys have seen that filled earlier today. All right. Hopefully everyone is on, ready. I'm going to do a countdown. The 9 countdown has worked out really good for us with people being able to jump in. So that's what we're going to do. And Cool Smurfer says, best puck classic next. I don't know about that because I'm not a hockey guy. I'm assuming that's what that is. Okay. Countdown from 9. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Enter. All right. Let's see where we're at. Draft starts soon. All right. I hope you guys got in with me because we are draft starts soon. All right, let's find out here. Let me get the board pulled up and we will see who's in here. Hopefully you guys jumped in during that slow count. If I see immediately zeros in here. All right, is anyone else in here? Undead, I don't see you in here. Were you wanting to join this with us? Okay, so Zero says that me and him were the last two. So Undead, you're starting the next one. Zero, are you good with doing 2 at once? Because we could just go ahead and join this next one, and I can put that on, and then we can just do 2 at once. Zero, what am I saying? I know you're doing good with 2 at once. Let's do it again. Let's just jump in. Zero, jump in this next one. Let me see where we're at. It's at 8 more. So I'll pull this one up on screen for now. It's at 6 more. But I'll join the other one and pull the other one up on the screen so that we can all be 4 more, guys. 4 more. So meanwhile, me and Zero will do this draft together and we'll double draft. I know Zero's good with double draft. And Zero got pick 5. I got pick 7. He said, all right, I joined. Yeah, I knew you would. I knew you'd go ahead and do it. That way we can get more than just you in here. So Undead, hopefully you're in this one. I'm sure you are, as you said. And then we'll see who else is in this with us as well. Okay. Yep. So in this next one, yep, it's the 3 of us. And if there's anyone else in, let me know. Meanwhile, I went ahead and just auto Jonathan Taylor, which is perfectly fine. No problems whatsoever. Cool Smurfer says, so last night I lost first place 5K because Tanner Scott's going to hold a 3-run lead in the 9th against the Rockies. Oh, I contemplated taking a week off for it's Cool Smurfer. That sucks, bro. And thank you with the good luck with the marathon, my friend. Oh, that stinks big time. All right, let me get our other board pulled up here. And that one, I got pick 4. Zero got pick 11, and Undead got pick 12. All right. Here she comes. It's loading now. There we go. All right. So this is total game points, right? Yes. Okay. So, okay. Yeah. Real quick. Let me make my pick here, and then I'm going to address what you said and what Zero just said. Yeah. Jamar Chase. Okay. So, yes, this tournament, the marathon, this is a weeks 1 through 17 tournament where the team with the most points wins. And every place that you finish will be based off of you versus everyone else and the other 22,000 teams in this tournament. So cool. Well, thanks for the word speed. Oh, so I've gone on autopilot in that other one. Just great. Let me go take care of that real quick. Sorry, guys. All right. So that other tournament is starting off with Ken Walker and Jonathan Taylor, which I don't mind. I wouldn't have done it, but I don't mind that. I'm going to have to keep my eye on to make sure that I don't get autoed in that other one again. Okay. But come on, get this off the screen. Got it. Okay. So back to what I was saying. So yes, you're just trying to draft the best team that you can. But like Zero says right here, this is very important. And I'm glad he said this because I was going to get to it. This is something that I always bring up whenever you're doing something like this, which I have in the past before I became obsessed with Underdog. I used to do a whole lot of drafting over on the NFFC, and I learned this there because everything is week 1 through 17. And over there, whenever you're drafting, it's full point PPR. So it's slightly different, but still, you still want to make sure that the team you're drafting has access to ceiling. Because like Zero said, what a lot of people do is they think, oh, well, I'm just trying to score the most points I can. So I'll take, let's just use a for instance and say Cooper Kupp, right? And say, I'll take Cooper Kupp because he's going to at least score my points every week. He's going to be out there. He can get whatever. He can get, 10 points on a week. But what do those 10 points ultimately do for you? If you have 10 points factoring, or 8 points factoring, that's bad. You don't want that. Yeah, it can help you get by when you have nothing else. But really what you want to do is you want to still make sure that you have access to ceiling, because as Zero is saying, all I did was draft spike week monsters instead of total season plays. Absolutely. He did well on drafters last season because I brought over my underdog strategies and it worked great. And that's his strategy. Draft spike week monsters. Don't worry about the total season, guys. Like one Addison 30-point spike week matters more than 6 10-point weeks. You are absolutely right, because in those other 6 weeks, you're going to have your factoring points anyway. So what does that 8 to 10 points do for you? It doesn't do much of anything. And so let me go ahead with double drafting here. And get my plays in. Okay. So like what I just have done here, starting Jamar Chase, and then I went A.J. Brown. Now, you know me, I would have taken Brock Bowers had he have made it. But A.J. Brown offers not only a season-long potential, but he offers on any given week big, big upside, just like Chase, just like hopefully Breece Hall does. Breece Hall is a home run play. He could have weeks with duds. He could be a stud a lot of weeks. He's a big home run hitter type of guy. I would rather have that than, for instance, Javonte Williams, who you see goes a few plays later. Now, this may or may not be where Zero agrees with me on this player, but generally, I think I view Zay Flowers this way as well, because generally Zay Flowers has been more of a floor play, and he doesn't really have access to that ceiling. Now, I know this year could be different, and maybe this year he does have access to ceiling, but there's still a chance that Zay Flowers may be looking at like a 14 to 15 point a week guy instead of like a 18 to 25 a point week guy. Like you would really sort of hope he has access to the 20 to 25. You really need those type of ceiling games more than you need the 8 to 12. Which a lot of times Zay lives in that in the past. Huhaim says Trey Tucker was in a lot of the top lineups on drafters total points last year with low overall ownership because of his 140-point week. This is a great, great call out. Sean Tucker, you could say that as well. So, and And yeah, Zero, I knew that you would disagree about Zay because I know that you feel stronger about Zay, and I do agree that Zay probably could be better this year than what he's done in the past. But last year he didn't have that spike week on Underdog. He did 1 week, I think, the first week of the season, and even then it was somewhat limited. I think David Montgomery has a really good potential for multi-touchdown weeks there with the Texans. And I don't want to get too far behind at running back. I could have taken Garrett Wilson or Luther Burden or Colson Loveland, who definitely all have that spike potential. But yeah, I'm going to go with Montgomery there. We'll see if that's right or wrong in the long run. I don't know. I'm not sold on Montgomery completely in Houston, but I do think there's a chance that potentially he could smash. And then again, I took medical tent Waddle over Ladd and Emeka, so I don't know what do I know. Well, Zero, you know what Waddle does have. I'll give you that he has that potential this year as well. Meanwhile, over on the other team, I've got to go do something. Brian Thomas, I guess Brian Thomas over Quentin Johnston. That one's tough because again, you made the comment earlier that all of the Jaguars. All right, so Devontae Adams can absolutely win. So can Loveland. I think I'm going to go ahead and get the strong tight end and do that instead of Devontae. Devontae could have been the right play there. He definitely is a big touchdown guy as well. Waddle price is fun. Yeah, I think Waddle, as we've discussed, I don't take what Waddle has done in the past with the Dolphins for a whole lot based off what he can do this year with the Broncos. I think he has a lot more access to ceiling, just like theoretically Zay does as well, with the changes they've made in their offense, the fact he's the clear-cut wide receiver one there, and maybe he gets more touchdowns this year. We shall see. But I'm into Waddle for sure. I've moved Waddle up to mid-third round rankings. Once say Devontae Olave are off, it's fair game. I hear you, buddy. I hear you. I'm right there with you. So I do think, though, that maybe Ladd, from an upside perspective, I think maybe Ladd does have that higher ceiling. If that offense goes off like, so many people and we've talked about like it could. But I'll grant you, it's close enough that I don't hate it either way. Huhaim says I got Waddle at like 44 just because I bake ADP in, and that makes sense too because when you're making rankings, especially if you're making rankings, and Huhaim's I know you are, that you're letting other people have access to, you don't really want to try to lead them astray to overspend too often, which I get. Because generally you want to let ADP kind of do its thing. Man, what sort of ceiling does Alec Pierce have? I generally don't like Alec Pierce, but I think I'm going to do the Alec. This is over in my other lineup here, the one that I'm drafting with Zero. He's my third wide receiver. I've got Taylor, Ken Walker, Jacobs, Trayvon with Olave, BTJ, and Pierce over in that other draft. I didn't bake in Zay's ADP, and now market agrees with me. They'll catch up by September. Unless you're doing BBM, it really doesn't matter. Time Box True ranks 100%. Most all these contests are only lasting a few days or at the most with puppies a few weeks. That's at the most. Most of them are just a few days. Like this has only been open for what, 3 days now, 4 at the most. I think it started on the day before the 4th of July. So I think this is the 4th day and it'll probably be filled by tomorrow. Okay, my pick here. So, man, with access to that ceiling, who do I do? Drake May or Burrow? Both of them pair. I'm going to do Drake May. I don't know. Who has a higher ceiling, Drake May or Burrow? Burrow's had the bigger monster games in the past, but who's going to this year? I don't know. I'm really torn on that one. There's a chance Burrow could swing back around. I could just take them both. That is very possible. Very possible. Meanwhile, over in that other, I'm going to go ahead and take Trevor Lawrence, go with BTJ, get my first quarterback. All right. I'm doing 150 max contests over the weekend. stick stuff, so though absolutely. I'm pushing Burrow. Yeah, when you have Jamar, probably Burrow. Yep. And again, I have Jamar and AJ Brown, so both of them work. Well, there we go. So I was able to push it. Now I'll be done at quarterback. I got both pair with my top guys. So I really like that. So I'm rocking a really weird build, 2-2-2-1, but I don't mind it. It's very interesting. And I think I do have gave myself access to a lot of ceiling here while also still building in a good enough floor. Meanwhile, let's take a look and see what Zero and Undead have done in this draft. So Zero has gone with Jainty, Barkley, ETN, then Waddle, Carnell Tate, and Marvin Harrison. While Undead started off with James Cook and then has gone all wide receiver since then. Rashee Rice, Malik Neighbors, Tet McMillan, Roma Dunze, and BTJ, Mr. Brian Thomas Jr. All right, let's see what you guys do here as we come to the turn of what round are we in? We are in round 7 going to 8. Meanwhile, Zero, we're about up over in that other draft. Over on the other draft, Zero's rocking ETN, Bucky Irving, Ramondre with Smith and Digba, AJ Brown, Mike Evans, Jordan Tyson, and Chris Godwin. Really strong build over there, Zero. And I need to probably get my 4th wide receiver on the board on that other team. Michael Pittman, Jacoby Myers. I think Pittman is pretty clearly the better upside pick of the two. Okay, meanwhile over here, Zero grabbed Cortland Sutton. That's his 4th wide receiver. And Undead took Mahomes, which gives him a Rice pair. And let's see what you do with the next pick here. The answer is RJ Harvey for a running back 2. And then Zero grabbing Jordan Addison. Talking about spike weeks and Jordan Addison. Jordan Addison is really rough and hard to play on normal, regular leagues, but boy, he is nice for best ball and especially formats like this right here. We are cooking, buddy. We are cooking. That's right. Okay. So as we are getting ready to come back to my pick, again, I've got a very weird, rare build of a 2-2-2-1. So I can go any direction that I want here. Looking at Godwin, Jaden Reed, Worthy, Michael Wilson. All right, so Godwin and Reed went. So, I mean, Worthy does have some nice weekly upside. I'm going to do it. Let's go Worthy. Let's go Worthy. And then as we come back around here, I'll probably grab my 3rd running back as opposed to my 2nd tight end. If I did go 2nd tight end, I could be done there and just go with Loveland and one other guy because it would be Fannin or Pitts or Laporta. And I think that between those two, that's a good enough duo. Meanwhile, over in my other draft, I'm going to get Kenny Gainwell and be done at running back over there as my 5th in round 10. My 5th behind JT, Ken Walker, Josh Jacobs, Trayvon Henderson, then Kenny Gainwell. That's a real strong 5 running back room. All right, now it's back to me here. So looks like Laporta went, Dobbins went, Brooks went. So I could go Monangai, Blake Corum, Rashad White, Kenny Gainwell. I kind of think my highest upside is Rashad White. I could be wrong here, but over Monangai or Corum, but I think Rashad White, if everything goes the best potential scenario, that he has the highest ceiling on a weekly basis. The clearest role potential to be the number one from a carry and dump off perspective. I'm not a big Bill fan. I like Katron some late. I will take Bill and Katron some, but and you know me, I generally like Kenny Gainwell, but I think that Rashad White is a better play than Kenny Gainwell. I don't know. What do you guys think in this format? That's real close. Hey, Chad, thanks, buddy. See you, brother. You have a good night, my friend. I always appreciate you coming on here, like I said. All right. So we had this question a little bit ago from Santa Cruz, JJ Santa Cruz. He says, how long have you been doing fantasy drafts? Well, so on YouTube, I have been had this channel and stream since January. Normally, since I don't really see you on here, JJ, very often, normally I have a football co-host named Corey who's been on here every football draft with me until tonight when he's got a work thing and he's in Chicago tonight. But normally we draft twice a week. Now, as far as how long have I been drafting myself personally, I have been doing fantasy football. I'm 42. I've been doing fantasy football since my senior year of high school, which was the 2001 year. I got really into football whenever I was a freshman in 1998. I started playing football in junior high. I really wasn't into it as a kid, but I got really into it in the 98 season. Been a big NFL fan since. But like I said, been doing fantasy in leagues with friends since 2002 or 2003. And I've been doing best ball for when did best ball start over on NFFC? I want to say it was around the 2015 range. And I've been on Underdog since 2021. 2021, I jumped on Underdog. 2022, really dove in and started drafting a ton. Before that, I was, like I said, NFFC was the place that I was drafting the most. Tyler Tolbert has tied a major league record with 12 straight hits. Holy crap, Cool Smurfer. Tyler Tolbert? That's insane. Talk about something for a bingo card that you would have never bet on. Tyler Tolbert. Jeez. Okay, so back to me here. So now, again, I'm looking for access to some ceiling. I don't know that Wandale has a ton of ceiling. I'm not doing Bill. I know who does have ceiling at the position, and that is Travis. And now I can be done and go Loveland Kelsey. So now I feel good enough being done with that. I don't feel that I need to do any more. So I'm going to be done with Loveland Kelsey. Meanwhile, over in the other draft, I still think Diggs is just a really good pick right now as we wait to find out where he's going to sign. Zero says that his first fantasy experience was Roto Baseball back whenever he was in elementary school and middle school. Zero's a few years younger, but for you, that was probably what, my friend, still the early 2000s when you were in elementary and middle school. So you probably started around the same time that I did. Again, for me, was the end of high school. My first league that I did was baseball. The football that I did back in the early 2000s wasn't with a league with friends. It was on NFL.com and this old fantasy thing that they had on there. Zero said, yeah, late 90s, early 2000s. Yeah, because yes, you would have been that age. All right, back to me here. So, Concepcion. I'm going to guess that Concepcion has access to a ceiling because I don't think Khalil Shakir does. I don't know how much Coker does. Rashid Shaheed does. I could have gone Rashid Shaheed. He graduated high school in 2010. Yeah, so you're 8 years younger than me. I'm '02. So yeah, that has that right about time. But yeah, my first baseball league I did in 2001 with a buddy of mine who's older than me. He was 7 years older than me and invited me to join this league. It was a league where American League only, Roto, no website, no nothing, everything done on paper yourself. You kept track of your team stats every Tuesday. You would go by the Sporting News, and then you would send your stats into the commissioner, who would then make a standings and send those out. And that's how it worked back then. This is crazy different than how things are even just a couple of years later. Whenever I started my first league doing on ESPN was in '03. That's whenever I started doing leagues on ESPN. And then my first league that I created was in '04, and that league is still running to this day. It's the oldest league that I've been in still that's running with buddies of mine. And there are four of us, including Duggar, who have been in it since the get-go. Corey joined in '06, so he joined 2 years after we started. So he's been in with us for almost that entire time as well. Yeah, man, it is crazy. Time flies. Time flies when you're having fun drafting teams, my friend. Okay, so back to your guys' builds and what I've missed the last few rounds. So after the Sutton and Addison, Zero grabbed him Bo Nix and Kyler Murray. I adore both of those picks from a ceiling standpoint. If things go right, the rushing ceiling you can get from Nix and Kyler and their stack pieces, I love your build. Goddard, there's Trey Tucker. And then Undead, he grabbed Harold Fannin and Kyle Pitts, which is super sweet. Two great tight ends. Now, both of them have 11 buys, and in this, you definitely want to make sure you're not taking any zeros. That could be a death knell to your team, having to take a week with a zero at a position. So I would suggest to take a third, but if you were going to take a zero at a position, tight end is the position to do it, because there will probably be a lot of teams that have factoring weeks of just 3 or 4 points at tight end. All right, back to me. I don't have a tight end two myself. Yes, I do. It's Kelsey. I'm looking at the other team that I'm in. Okay. But I'm up in this one as well. 1 second. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Well, all right. I didn't get there in time, but it's not the worst thing in the world. I gave myself a third quarterback that I didn't necessarily need, but Malik Willis does have very, very high ceiling access, and his floor matters absolutely nothing to me whatsoever. So I'm fine with it, although it sucks. I was going to be done at quarterback. That's the unfortunate things of whenever you're up with two drafts at the same time and you're streaming and you don't get over to the other one in time. It is what it is, though. So as we're getting ready to come back around to me here, so just as a reminder, I've got a 3-3-4-2. I'm going to need to have some more running back points. And I know who I'm going to take, the guy who I could try to push, but I'm not going to push in this draft with you guys, since I've got two snakes here at the end with Zero and Undead, who I know could both easily grab this player. And I'm going to go ahead and grab Mr. Tyler Algier, who again I think is a great pick late and has access to such a high ceiling if something were to happen to Love. I mean, Algier could just absolutely smash if something happens to Love, but he can still have 2 and 3 touchdown weeks, even if Love is healthy, if he's getting more of the goal line rolls. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if a lot of Love owners were very aggravated at how much work Algier gets, even with a healthy Love. So, yeah, I'm good with that. I could have pushed Tucker to the next turn, he says, but I have 2 other targets there anyway. And yeah, if you would have tried to push him, I'd have looked at him myself if it wasn't for the auto pick. Got to start pulling up my guys. Absolutely, bud. So JJ says, what's the best team you've drafted or placed in best ball within a best ball? So, let me go make my pick real quick here in this other draft. I am up. I've got a 3-5-5-1. I need to go ahead and grab another tight end. I'll get Dolchitz, who has a chance to be that breakout, and do that there. So for me, last year I finished in. It was the Dachshund tournament, and I finished 9th in the Dachshund last year. That's my best. That was a 100,000 person tournament, I believe it was. It was a big tournament. It was a nice payday. I could have finished up there at the top. Going into the last game of the week last year, I had Puka Nacua, Kyle freaking Pitts in that Falcons-Rams game, both of them on my team. It was Puka's worst game of the year. Pitts, my tight ends, who it was factoring, was a Mike Gesicki 5-point game. All Pitts had to do was score more than 5 points to increase my points there, and he couldn't do it. Pitts had his worst game in forever in the last week. Puka had his worst game of months in the last week. And so I could have finished even better than what I did, but it is what it is. There was only one above me that also had Puka, and it was actually a guy that I knew, which was kind of funny. Okay. Okay, let's do that. I just went ahead and grabbed Zachariah Branch in that other draft. Now I'm coming back here in ours. Cool Smurfer says 13th in a pit bull. Yep, this is our year. This is our year. I'm waiting to win one of these suckers. Zero, what's the highest you finished in a tournament, bud? And yeah, I know. I'm a Branch guy, and I'm going to take access to what I think is potentially a good ceiling there, even if I'm wrong. I think that the possibility is there. And then there's not hardly any running backs left. I need another one on this team. So I'm going to take Dylan Sampson, even though I like a few of these other plays better than him. But we're getting thin. Zero got 250th in the BBM last year, which honestly, that's great. Making a team just make the finals in the BBM is incredible. I know you get a really good payout just by making the finals in the BBM. And that was without his 2nd and 4th round pick playing. Good grief. Yeah, dude, I know. Always mixing up the dogs. That's why I had to think about mine. I'm like, what was it? It was the Dachshund. That's what it was. But I have a hard time remembering sometimes what tournament I even finished in at the top last year, because there's so many different ones. I have not made it so far. I have not made it to the final week of a BBM. I really hope this is the year that I can have a team make it to the final week of a BBM. Last year, I also had a team in the Puppy 1 that made it relatively high. It was somewhere in the hundreds. It was like 110 in the Puppy 1. All right. Who's got higher ceiling? I think it's Antonio Williams over Debo or Tesla. I'm going to go Antonio Williams and bet on Jaden Daniels and the potential that they don't sign anyone else, and just gamble on that. Meanwhile, over in the other one, I'm going to take Ted Hurst in round 17 and gamble on him. Not much of a sweat when no Henry, no money. Yeah. Henry, guess what? Shocker. Henry was on my team. Let's see. I know it's okay. By the way, I was wrong. That team was not the Dachshund that I finished. It was the Schnauzer too. I've got it wrote down on this card here. So I had wrote this down to like track my team in that final week last year. It was Josh Allen, Matt Stafford, with James Cook, who was also a dud in the final week, Derrick Henry, Ramondre, Aaron Jones, Puka, Olave, Waddle, Diggs, Rashid Shaheed, Joshua Palmer, Kyle Pitts, Mike Gesicki, Jonnu Smith. And then my puppy that I drafted on April 29th, that made it to the top 100 something, was Herbert, Stafford, Saquon, Etienne, Kyron, Tyrone Tracy, Jalen Wright, with Smith and Jigba, Olave, Debo, Quentin Johnston, Wandale, someone else that I didn't write down because he was hurt, George Kittle, and Kelsey. So those were the two best lineups that I had last year that made it the furthest in football. But I had a fun drafter sweat with two teams in the top 10 in the mini. Oh, zero. That's awesome. That is awesome. I'm still pretty new to best ball and trying to learn from the best. This is my third year playing. Well, buddy, me too. I've been playing, like I said, for about a decade, but I try to learn every year. And I am always listening to other people, also trying to learn from the best. So I'm right there with you, my friend. And anything that I can help recommend for people, I like to. That's why I started this channel, because I'm so experienced, and Corey is so knowledgeable with football. I love that he's on here doing football with me. Corey has always been my best football buddy, the guy who, anytime that I have questions about this or that, I'm always getting a hold of him. And I miss not having him on here with us tonight, but yeah, but that's kind of how this whole thing started, was me wanting to kind of help share the things I know and try to help other people draft better teams and get better teams. And like Zero has said before in this, iron sharpens iron. So, with all of us talking about these things, doing teams together, yeah, we for sure can help each other out. And yes, Zero, I know Corey misses you too, my friend. He does. You are his boy. You're my boy too, though. Don't get me wrong. And then Cool Smurfer says, yeah, he killed my finals team as well. That was rough watching. Boo the Packers, D. Boo that man. And yeah, seriously, people do typically get way too rigid with echo chambers, for sure. No naked Herbert tonight. Okay, we're coming back around to me here. Okay, so I'm up. Meanwhile, the other drafted Zero and I are done. Well, I mean, this just fell right in my lap. How do I not go ahead and take Zachariah here? Of course I'm going to. Top guy on the list. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. All right, I always incorporate DFS strategies in best balls. I do drafter strategies on Underdog and vice versa. Yeah, buddy, you 100%. People overthink half PPR, full PPR, all the different formats. I could not agree more. Here's what matters: drafting good players on good teams in good situations, and mixing up, because we're going to be wrong almost all the time. It's also accepting that you're going to be wrong, understanding that, trying to get past the thing of like every time trying to be perfect. Be willing to take chances, be willing to take risks, but in a smart way, because, and drafting all the time, this is what helps you to get that way. And I make wrong choices every year, all the time. Again, these moves that I'm making, Zachariah Branch, Antonio Williams, what I'm about to do, taking another Ted Hurst, getting these young rookie wide receivers may be dumb. In the past, I've typically stayed away, and I more or less, a lot of times I'm gravitate towards veteran wide receivers at the end, but I'm trying to access higher ceilings, and specifically with these guys, I think they all have access to that in the right situations. So I love taking a lot of these young, late wide receivers this year that the last few years Spencer would not have done. MLB history loading. Tyler Tolbert is due up after tying MLB's record with 12 straight hits. Is he available in your league? Question mark. He probably is available in most leagues. ESPN. Zero says, yeah, JSN, Pickens, Olave were good on half PPR, full PPR, every mode. Exactly. Oh, this player is good pick at 159, bad at 129. Like, okay, that's why you've heard me say before. I'm like, I don't care. Like, I get in the BBM, there is some strategy too when you're going over a whole summer, the drastic changes and swings of where guys could go. But I don't care if I'm going against teams that took A.J. Brown in round 3 and I have to take A.J. Brown in round 2. I don't care whatsoever. Like, the way I feel about it is everyone's going to get good picks, especially at the top. It's a matter of, did you put together those good picks in the right year? And then what did you do later? Because your teams always will succeed based off what you do later in the draft. It's not all about the top, but it matters in the top too. I mean, it's just how is it going to work? Cool Smurfer, speaking of mistakes, Wood hit another homer. Every time I die a little on the inside with Langford, still picking his butt on the DL. Dude, I hear you. And seriously, that's one that's gonna grind my gears this whole time too. Because now that I'm talking to you guys, and I was full in on Langford, and I was not drafting James Wood in that round 2 price. Boy, do I regret that. Just like you, just like I know so many people do. And it'd be kind of fun to go back and listen to some of my baseball shows and what I was saying about James Wood. But from what I remember, I was taking James Wood every once in a while. But it was an anti-nationals thing. It was just sort of trying to stay away from the potential bad team. And then here I'm going to grab one more running back, and I'm going to get Braylon Allen. I also had Brees Hall, and even though I typically don't like to handcuff, quote unquote, I think that Braylon Allen could be good with Brees Hall being healthy, because Braylon Allen could get a lot of touchdowns. He could be a touchdown role, and it only takes 1 or 2 weeks to matter for your team, like we discussed, like with Trey Tucker. And if Braylon Allen were to have a random 3 touchdown game, that one game could make the whole pick worth it. Zero says, I made that mistake a little last year, even though I tried not to. I knew Pickens was a smash at the 3-4 turn and didn't pull it up because I had 25% at the old price. I picked 60 to 85. And yeah, brother, I get that. And this is where, I've been going heavy at Underdog for 4 years now. And every year I'm learning. Again, for me, I started in 21, dove in big in 22, did a couple hundred drafts. 23 is where I went nuts. And 23, I was drafting like literally all day, every day, like you do, Zero, as many as I could. I spent so much. I did almost 1,000 total drafts. It was 900 something drafts. And I thought after my first 2 years that I could just outdraft. I thought if I just did more drafts, but then I still had in the same number of teams make the final week as I did the year before, which was 2 out of all of those contests, 900 plus drafts, to have 2 teams make it in the final week. And so I learned in 2023, it's not about just bulk drafting the most you can. And in 2024, I still did hundreds of drafts, probably 600, 700. But I drafted with intention. I did one draft at a time. I had a notebook. I still have it. It's out in the living room. I could go grab it and show you guys. I have a whole notebook. I literally wrote every single team out. And I made notes for a lot of teams early on what I thought, what I would do. I eventually did so many teams, it was enough just to write them down in the book, and I wasn't making notes on the teams. But I did that in 24, and I had a better year. And then 25 last year, I didn't write things down in a book. I didn't draft based off of any rankings. I just drafted based off of the years of experience and trying to put the best teams I could. And I had my best season last year. That's what I'm trying to take into this year and keep doing. Zero says his biggest lesson he's learned the last 2 years is if we don't take big stands on players, that probably won't matter. But take big stands, or maybe a handful of players. You have to get the micro thing right. 2 years ago, Bengals, Bucks, Redskins. Last year, Seahawks, Saints, like Olave, Juwan, a few others. Patriots, I guess. Yeah, you're a veteran now, Spencer. That's why. That's right. I mean, I am. I'm a veteran at drafting on Underdog. Even though I've not won a contest, I know this too. All of the money that I've invested since 2021 drafted on here, all of that, if I have one team win one of these top and I win 100 grand, it's going to smash all of the money I've invested, because I mean, I mostly do the lower cost tournaments. But anyway, this was a really good convo. I want to go ahead and review our teams, and then I'm down to draft another one. If you guys want to do another draft, I'm down for another draft. So let me go ahead and pull this tab up, turn the comments off for a minute, and yeah, 100% zero. And this is why I made the comment before about Pitts and how it's hard. It's hard because I do hold the grudge on. I'm like, if Pitts could have just had done something, and all he had to do was score more than 5 to factor for me, he couldn't even do that. But again, if I would have, that team probably wouldn't have even been there if it wasn't have been for Pitts 2 weeks before. Okay. All right, let's take a gander at our squads here. So we'll start off with Undead, who went with a 2-7-7-2. Remember, this is a marathon. And he went with Mahomes and Penix. Now, Undead, if I was to give you my own personal advice on this, I don't think that's good enough for a 2. Now, I do think Penix could have been fine as a 3rd if you also had Tua. And you were that way, you were kind of like ensuring yourself the quarterback room of like Mahomes plus the quarterback room of the Falcons. But in my opinion, a uncertain at when you could get Penix, if you get Penix at all, is not good enough to be able to finish with a good score and count strictly on Mahomes. Unless you get quarterback 1 Mahomes come back out of nowhere, which is possible, I guess, but I doubt it. But let's see how the rest of your team turned out. James Cook, RJ Harvey, Tank Bigsby. So you went Cook and then pushed RB. You got Harvey at a nice price, then really pushed it late and bulked with Tank, B-Rob, Ray Davis, Jaden Blue, Mike Washington. Now, Tank, B-Rob, and Ray, these are all great examples of the next man up guys that if their cohorts in front of them, Saquon, Bijan, and Cook, if they got hurt, then these guys can smash. I don't love taking Ray Davis with Cook on the same team. I typically like to split them up because I think Ray Davis will give you absolutely nothing if James Cook is healthy. Unlike kind of the Breece Hall, Braylon Allen thing, like I was just talking about mine, because Braylon Allen could have a role and still spike some weeks, even with a fully healthy Hall. Whereas I don't think Ray Davis will play at all with James Cook fully healthy. But Ray Davis is a great pick if Cook goes down, because we've already seen Ray Davis smash when he's the main guy. Rashee Rice, Malik Neighbors, Tet McMillan, Roma Dunze, Brian Thomas Jr., Khalil Shakir, and Jalen Coker. You got one heck of a wide receiver room, and it stinks that you weren't able to add Bryce Young. I bet you were probably wanting to add Bryce Young on this team, but if you would have still needed a 3rd like Penix or Tua because of the week 5 buys. And then Fannin and Pitts, and you still have the 2. So Undead, overall, my friend, I think you've got a really nice team that could work out much better in a normal tournament where you're just going to try to get a ticket and advance, and then things work together in your favor in the playoffs. In a marathon, I don't know that this is the build to take down a marathon, but I think it's a very interesting team, and I think that's a good team to learn from. As far as just specifically the differences between a tournament team and a marathon. Okay, so now we get to Zero with a 3-4-8-3. So Zero went with those the QB spike upside plays of Nix and Kyler, and then went with the late Mendoza. We know that this is stacked for him already. Not only Jainty, but I know he took Tucker. And you've got such the floor on these guys could be really low, but the ceiling can be very high. So as a trio, this is perfect for this type of format. And then Jainty, Barkley, ETN, and then Connor. Now, Zero, you tell me, do you wish you would have had one more better running back as a 4th than having to wait for Connor at the end? I think that's my initial thought, is if you were going to take just 4, I don't know that Connor as the 4th, when you're now having to count on ETN being a stud. See, I think Jainty and Saquon, those are hands down great picks regardless, assuming health. ETN is a question mark, and then with having no one else till Connor, I'm not sure. Waddle, Carnell Tate, Marvin Harrison, Sutton, Addison, Tucker, Boston, and Tesla. This is an ideal wide receiver room. Lots of spike week access, some good floor as well across the board with Waddle, for instance. I would say even really that's your floor play. Carnell Tate, maybe. The rest of the guys are spike week guys. Well, I guess Marvin could be a floor play because he may have a lot of weeks where he's only getting, yeah, he's probably more of a boom or bust, I would say, than a floor play. Dallas Goedert, Juwan Johnson, and of course, Michael Mayer going to your boy. So, Zero, I think you've got a real nice team. You just tell me, though, do you think that it could be a little better if you had one difference made at running back? I'm not looking at the comments yet. I'll go do that in a minute. And then here's my team 3-6-7-2. Drake May, Burrow, and unfortunately, Malik Willis. I wasn't going to take him. I didn't need him, but we'll take it. May and Burrow are going to pair with Chase and A.J. Brown. My running backs, Breece Hall, David Montgomery, Rachaad White as my top three. And then Tyler Algier, Dylan Sampson, and Braylon Allen. So all of these guys have different bye weeks except for the Braylon and Breece, which of course are teammates. I think I've got good ceiling with Montgomery and potentially White. Algier is a play that, again, it probably requires Love being hurt, but there's a chance he could still spike a couple weeks with Love still being healthy. And then Sampson, probably just a 4 play that I don't know what access to ceiling he'd have in half point PPR, but that was sort of a depth thing. And then my wide receivers, Chase, A.J. Brown, love that start. I then waited and went with Worthy and a bunch of rookies. Concepcion, Antonio Williams, Zachariah Branch, and Ted Hurst. Can that work? I don't know. We shall see. I love the top of my team, though. So with having Chase and AJ, I think I've got a good enough. Maybe in retrospect, I needed one more. Maybe instead of Braylon Allen, I should have taken another wide receiver at the end and just rolled with, or maybe instead of Dylan Sampson, I went with, I think Tesla was there. I could have taken Tesla, just taken Braylon as the 5th, and maybe that could have unlocked a better ceiling or outcome for my team. But Loveland and Kelsey, that's a good ceiling and a good floor. I like where I'm at there at tight end. So overall, I think I've got a really good marathon team. But running back could hold me back, and then theoretically wide receiver, if Chase and Brown aren't just, they got to smash for me. Okay. All right. Let's see what I missed here. Let me throw the comments back on the stage. And all right. Oh yeah, there was a lot of comments. Oh man, there's a lot for me to try to go back. Well, that's almost too much for me to go back and say, well, I don't think KC is a high upside placements. I agree with you, bud. I do. I was real hesitant whenever I made that. I don't think KC is a high upside. Maybe, right? But there's just not enough volume in that offense to go around, I don't think, for him to be. Kamara is about to piss ETN drafters off. That's a fact. Yeah, I can see that. This is why I really like ETN, and I think that he has some nice spot, but I'm just worried about him. 8% position in 5th round. I mean, are you talking about ETN still here? Yeah, I had 25% ETN last year. This year, like 2. We're right in the same boat. Last year, ETN was one of my highest drafted running backs. This is where draft position matters. This year, so few. He smashed last year from what was he? Between rounds 6 to 9, because in the earlier, I'm pretty sure I remember getting him in rounds 8 and 9. And then he ended up moving up to like between 5th to 7th, and off my memory, last year. But okay. Well, guys, who wants to do another draft? Let's do one more together. Let's do one more. Still haven't seen Duggar or Corey. I'm going to try Corey one more time. Nope. He Hasn't responded since my last text, so he must be busy. Okay, well, that's all right. We're just going to go ahead. I'm just going to roll out and do this solo. Okay. Let me get it pulled up here and ready. Okay. Do we want to stick with marathon? Zero, you tell me. Anyone else that wants to draft with me that's here, stick with marathon or do something else. Do we want to do a super flex? What's that super flex? It's getting close. 94.9%. I know if we do a marathon, I'm going to probably multi-draft the super flex as soon as we're done and try to max that thing out. I think I'm at 16 entries, so I still need 4 more. Zero says marathon. All right, marathon. Well, Breaking Best Ball chimed in and says BBM. I mean, I'd be down for a BBM, but marathon is getting close to filling too. Marathon will be done. BBM will have all the rest of the summer. We did a BBM first, Breaking Best Ball. So this draft tonight started off with a BBM. So later on, you could go back and watch that. I had a guest on named Brad who I helped coach him through his team, and then I drafted from spot 12. I think they turned out really good teams too. Oh, is this official? Do we have breaking news? Dun-na-na, dun-na-na. Let me Google this real quick. Well, as of this moment on Google, I'm not seeing anything yet. So maybe you were just saying that that's where you think he's going to go to. Or is this official? No, you guys are all saying this. All right. Debo back to San Fran? Yeah. Yeah. All right. Oh, man. Well, hey, sweet. Google's running behind, but we officially have breaking news. Da-na-na, da-na-na. Debo Samuel back to San Francisco. And yeah, Ricky Pearsall bags probably cooked. Yeah. Yep. Can't wait to get 8% Ricky in the 160s. That's true. He's going to dip. Uh-oh. The Toxic Tower. Shefty just deleted the tweet. What's going on? So maybe this is fake news? Ricky shot again. Frog clone, my butthole is clenched. Waiting with bated breath. What is happening? Debo Samuel, what are you doing? Oh, you guys are killing me. No way, Zero. Debo did not fail. No physical. No way. Oh, I don't see confirmation at first. Max Crosby. Now this. All right. Well, you know what? Hey, what have I said this whole time while we've been drafting? I've said, I think Debo will go back to San Fran or go back to Washington. One of those two places. Going back to San Fran is nice. You just got Toxic Towered. Fake news. Oh, man. What I got in those boxes back there? Bunch of baseball cards, my friend. I sit here and draft in my baseball card room. Brandon Ayuk time. Never trust the internet, sadly. Oh, it's so funny. Emo is a victim. Oh gosh. Well, guys, you know what? Either way, Ricky still has a pulse. Oh man. Well, we'll end up seeing what happens there. But guys, okay. So we're getting ready to jump in and do a draft. I think we're going to go ahead and do another marathon. Let's do another marathon. Emo Cowboy has me hostage, Frog Clone says. Oh, man. And then Debo failed the pistol. So we got to find out. So again, whenever I Google, as of Google, now Google is not the best. I'm not on Twitter. I don't have Twitter pulled up on my computer. But even with that, I don't know what it would say different. We'll just find out. We will just find out what happens. Okay, so guys, marathon draft. We're going to do marathon. So if anyone that wants to draft a marathon with me, get it ready. I'm going to do a countdown. I'm going to count down from 9. I know 0 is down, but anybody else who's in here that wants to draft, we're going to get this going. And the countdown starts in 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm pressing enter. All right. And we are at 7 more. Perfect. 7 more. So we've got plenty of room for people that want to join. Anyone want to join? We're doing a marathon. Oh man. You know what? I'm gonna real quick. Let me go pull up Twitter. Let me do a Debo search and see if any of this has been true or if it was all just fake news. Let's see. Well, I think it was all fake news. I'm not seeing anything. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. I still think that Debo makes sense for him to go back to Washington or San Fran. Either of those places makes a lot of sense for him to go back to. Yeah, okay, it was even though I just yeah, it was a joke. Yeah. Toxic Tower does fake raids. Well, I appreciate it. Either way, that was fun. Oh, is draft filled? Is draft filled? Draft's filled. 0, you get pick number 1, buddy. All right, let me get this pulled up here. Well, that was a real raid, though. It was. That was good. Oh, man. That was hilarious. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for coming on here and raiding me with some fake news. That was phenomenal. Oh, a lot of fun. All right. Oh, man. I wish Corey was here for that. Oh, I can't wait to tell him about that. All right. Let me get our draft board pulled up. I don't even know what pick I have yet. Pick 8. All right. Okay. Beautiful. Here we go. All right. So who else is in this room with us? Let's see here. Cleves, what's up, buddy? How you doing, my friend? See Cleves at pick 10. Of course, 0 got him the 1. I'm not noticing any other names that stand out. So if anyone else is in here with us, please let me know. Let me know what pick you are so I can see what your handle is. All right. So 0, shocker, started him off with some Jahmyr Gibbs. 0, I know I've asked you this before. I'm just wondering how you're sitting now. Are you a Gibbs 100% of the time from pick 1? Do you ever mix it up because of an exposures thing? What's up, buddy? Good to see you tonight, Cleves. Very happy to have you here, as always, my friend. Oh, Corey, he's here. He's in the chat. Dang, just missed it. You did. We just got raided with some fake Debo Samuel news. Go back and check it out there in the in the comments. It was great. All right. I'm going to go Amon-Ra. I think Amon-Ra has good ceiling and floor access that I am plenty good with. I had 12.5% Bijan, 5.5% Gibbs until Gibbs flipped him. So going Gibbs more. Hey, Brett, what's up, buddy? Good to have you in here tonight. And then since I'm a volume drafter, I just take whoever's 1-1 mostly. Yeah, 100%. But you prefer Bijan. Interesting. Purple Yosh, I appreciate that. I do. I know. That was great. I love that. That was hilarious. Cool Smurfer said, I liked their raid last week when they faked Darren Waller coming back. I didn't get to see that. Oh, Brett, you just missed this one. Oh, dang it, buddy. Wish you could have got on here with us this time. Well, we'll be back soon. This is going to be my last draft of the night, I'm sure. But we'll see. If a bunch of people are on here and want to do one more, I might be able to be talked into one more. But this is probably going to be it, the third draft of the night. you can make a case for Jamar 110 says, yeah. So I was bringing this up and asking this. Let me go ahead and real quickly make my pick. It's got to be Derrick Henry, right? I could have just gone with my boy Bowers actually, but I'm going to go Derrick Henry for this. Again, from a season long points and a weekly spike upside, I mean, there's not much better than Derrick Henry at running back. I'm gonna talk you into one more. Well, maybe, my friend, maybe. Jamar is the 1-1. Corey says hashtag for the brand. Zero's missing you here. The brand is safe. So in the past, especially the last few years, I have been very, very much, I mix up who I take at pick 1 and 2 and 3, mix them up all the time, because there's really hardly ever one guy who I just fully believe in. That should always be the case. To be completely honest with you, from a shares perspective, I don't even care if someone were to move up and take McCaffrey as pick 1, because if you just wanted to bet on him being healthy and being the main workload guy again, I mean, McCaffrey could be better than anyone on any given week. So I don't have an issue with that. It's just not smart to do. This year, I have been Gibbs anytime I get 1, Bijan anytime I get 2, and I've just been operating that way. And then Chase every time I get 3. And I've not been mixing them up in there. So I was just wondering about you guys. The marathon makes more sense to mix it up at 101. I agree. The marathon makes even more sense than a regular tournament to mix it up. Absolutely. Hey, look who we got here. The stacked man.
I'm here, baby.
Yeah. There it is. You're in the hotel room.
I am the hotel room. We just got back. I'm at a company event right now, and we had a little outing, and yeah, I'm back at the hotel. I was like, I gotta, people are gonna, go into the hotel lobby and stuff for a beverage, and I'm like, you know what? I'm loyal. I'm going to stream, guys, for the
My
brand.
man, I love it. I wish if you'd have been 2 minutes earlier, you could have got in this draft.
I know. I was in the elevator and I pulled it up, and I was like, oh, I wonder if I'm in, like, maybe I can catch him in time. And I literally saw the Gibbs pick, and I was like, dang it, I just missed it.
Yep, dang it. Well, you know what? We'll do one more. We'll stay on and do one more for you, Corey, as long as you're up for it.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't I wouldn't commit to that right
okay,
now.
We'll see then. We'll just see how it goes. If you feel like it, we'll just see. But
yeah.
So this is the third draft of the night. Did a BBM first, and then we did a marathon, and then now this is another marathon. So that's what we're doing, a marathon draft. See, I want to max out the super flex, and it's at 94 point something %. So that's what I'm wanting to go on and do after this, is go ahead, because I think I need, let me go double check. I think I need 4 more, and I could do them all at once just to knock them out.
I had a location issue yesterday traveling,
I need 5
and so I wasn't able to I ended up with like 3 or 4 chihuahuas left. Because I mean, I was going to max it out easy, and then yesterday it was because my computer back home was still logged into my Underdog account, and so it was logged in 2 separate locations, so I had to tell my wife to shut it down and yada yada yada. So I wasn't able to max that out or get started on the super flexes, so that's a bummer.
That's a bummer. That's all right though.
Because that team I sent you earlier, I mean, that was my favorite team of the Chihuahuas, and my God, that team I love it.
Just end on that one. Yeah.
Oh, that was a good looking team.
So I just went ahead and grabbed Cam Scatabo. So
see the view. Check out that view.
Ooh, nice.
I know it's fun. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to hijack everything.
Can you turn it sideways? Let's see how. I want to see if it changes your view on this computer screen. Yeah, it did. Is that weird for you, or are you good with that?
I mean, it's not my favorite, but yeah, I'll do it for you and the fans.
Yeah. That way it takes up the full box there.
Sure. Yeah. No, I
Let's
get
see
it.
that. Let's see that view of the city again now from this.
How we
Oh
looking?
yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Is that Michigan Avenue?
No, but it's close. But yeah,
Close.
I'm Chicago, downtown Chicago,
Downtown
the
Chi-Town.
temporary home of the Bears, who are soon to be the Indiana Bears.
A few minutes ago, so CH23 said, yeah, those top four guys will never slip past their ADP. So unless you hate the four best players, no reason to mix it up. And honestly, this is how I feel this year. I extend Puka to that fourth as well, where I always take him. JSN is the point where I'm okay to mix it up from that point. If you really want
Yeah.
Amon-Ra or Taylor or McCaffrey.
Yep. I agree. That's what I've been doing. Like top five is chalk, just because it so rarely deviates. But yeah, earlier I had a 7, and I think CMC went 6, and then I took Amon Ra at 7. So someone at 8 got Taylor,
Yeah,
which is fine.
it's fine. Look at what Zero did. So Zero's at pick 1, and you
I'm gonna
probably
have to
can't see
turn
the
it to
board.
see. Yeah, I was
Yeah, I
gonna
was
say
gonna
I'm
say
gonna have
you
to
can't
turn it
see the
again to
board.
see it.
But what Zero did at the 2-3 turn is he got London and then pulled up Josh Allen. I like that.
Ooh, you
Um,
dog.
and he says 2-3 turn players have been super volatile, which adds an extra layer of risk. Very true. They have been. There's so it's so weird with the 2-3 turn when you have the top. So many different ways to go. I like the way you went here in this
I've been
one.
getting a lot of top 5 picks in the Chihuahua, and like kind of Zero did it in our last stream. And I like, as far as like, flipping the board and mixing it, like just trying, I need to be better about doing that and get some more different like combinations, because I've been
Mhm.
getting a weird amount of top 5 picks.
What did you say? You got like 4 number 2s in a row or something?
I'll pull it up. Like
Yeah, pull it up and
it's
see.
kind of
I know
nuts.
you,
Like
you
how
told
many,
me it was crazy how many pick 2s you got in a row.
yeah. Let's fire this up here real quick.
Um, so I've got a nice little Ravens thing going. So with this team, I got Amon-Ra, then Henry, Zay Flowers, and Lamar Jackson, with also adding in Scatabo. So I'm pretty big fan of how this has started. Cleves has started his team. CD Lamb, Saquon, killer 1-2. ETN, which again I've already said I'm a little suspect on, but I think his upside is there. And then T. Higgins, which is a nice fall in the 4. Jameson Williams and Tyler Warren really like the start, Cleves. Other than,
I
I would, maybe I feel better about Jacobs than ETN, but that's close enough that I'm fine with it either way.
my streak is a 102, 104, 104, 104, 103, 101, 105, and it finally ended at 107 today.
Wow.
But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight top 5, and only one of them was 5. So I had 3 straight 104s, and one of them was a 104 Bijan. Get out of here.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. The
104
104
Bijan
Bijan.
in this economy?
When does that happen? It
In
doesn't.
this
I know.
economy.
Crazy.
That was a
Um,
fun one.
Purple Yosh said he low key hates the 2-3 turn right now. But yeah, that London fall is nice though. Yeah, London is pretty much never there. Getting London at the 2-3 turn, it pretty much never happens. He's almost never there for the second one where you could pair
Yeah.
him with Bijan, let
Out of all
alone.
those top picks I got, I did not have one chance at Bijan London.
Yeah.
Not one. It just never happened. But the 104, I got Bijan Achan, which I feel doesn't happen that often.
And it is nice for the rare times Bowers falls to the end. That doesn't happen very often, but it
Sure.
does sometimes. Brett says he likes the 12 spot. Yeah,
Agreed.
I also like the 12 spot. Really, I'm a fan of that whole range of 8 to 12. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, it's really nice.
The back half of the draft is where it's at.
Um,
Especially running backs too. Like if you can
oh,
grab, if you prefer to
yeah.
go receiver running back, grabbing one of your Jefferson, Lamb, Amon Ra, and then you're guaranteed a top running back. It's great. It's a great
Yep.
place to be.
Great place to be. CH23 says, yeah, same Yosh. The only downside of running hot on top 3 picks. Yeah, it's true. And honestly, those turn pieces, obviously they could be good, but like how often can you have Jeremiah Love, Trey McBride, George Pickens, and Devonta Smith just staring at you in the face, and you're like, the Cardinals could suck. What if Pickens is a letdown in the round 2? Because what if he has a mental breakdown or whatever, or he just isn't as good as last year?
Even year Dak.
Right? What if Devonta Smith is not a true alpha target guy, and losing AJ Brown still doesn't raise his ceiling to that level of price? Then you have Olave you could go, but then
Breece
what
Hall
about
has
his
been
injuries?
usually my go-to.
Breece Hall is the Corey go-to. Yep.
Yeah, but I've been a Breece Hall guy since day one.
Yeah, you haven't, and I'm getting ready to come back up here. So I am looking at. I only have 2 wide receivers, but I think I'm going to go Ramondre, who I think is a really nice marathon play for a combination of ceiling and weekly floor. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and push wide receiver another go around. Corey, are you there still? Did we lose you?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just there was text rolling in, and it's like colleagues are a little younger than me, and they're like, "Hey, who's going out right now?" And I was like, "Not me. I'm doing the real stuff right now, streaming."
That's honestly, that's why I figured that I may not see you tonight at all, because I knew that you were gonna be pressured by those people at this to
Not gonna
like
lie,
go
like
out.
we just went to this place in Chicago. It's called Whirly Ball. We went to and we did that whole thing, and like they bussed us back because there was a bunch of us there. And on the bus, they started playing like late '90s, early 2000s, like rap and stuff. And I was like, "Uh-oh, I'm getting a second wind right now." And I was like, and when we got off the bus, me and one of my colleagues, we were talking. We were both, with kids and stuff, empty hotel room. We were both like, like, hey, I got a night in a hotel room, quiet by myself. That sounds amazing. But then like when they started playing the music, we both looked at each other, and I was like, oh, I could easily be talked into going out right now. But I stayed strong.
Stay strong, brother.
Yep, I did.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm taking
Xavier
away from
Worthy,
everything. I'm sorry,
Xavier
guys.
Worthy,
I didn't mean to
Mahomes.
hijack.
That's okay. You're good, buddy. You're good. I
Yep,
grab Jaden
go ahead.
Reed. You are good. Hey, by the way, late 90s, early 2000s rap. Did you get to hear any Nelly?
Actually, no, but my colleague that was sitting in front of me, she's from Oklahoma, and she mentioned, she was like, you know what, like from this area, who I love is Nelly, and I was like, oh girl, you're talking to the guy from the Lou right now, like
I was gonna say I'm from the Lou and I'm proud.
yeah, like that he's the guy. I was like, and then she said something about going to a casino or something. I was like, if you go to a casino in the St. Louis metro area, you have a 50-50 shot of seeing Nelly.
Yep.
He's just always hanging out there.
I have. It was on my 23rd or 24th birthday. Were you there? I know Duggar was there. Were you
I don't think I was at that one.
I don't think you were at that one. I know Duggar was with me.
It was probably, I mean, if it was I probably wasn't 21 yet.
Oh yeah, that's it. That's what
so
it was.
Much older than me.
I know. I'm so much older than you. 3 years.
I know.
But no, I think it was my 23rd birthday. So yeah, you wouldn't have been 21 yet. But yeah, it was the Harrah's. It was the one out by Dave and Buster's.
Oh yeah. Well, now it's Hollywood.
Yeah, that's what it was back then. And anyway, yeah, freaking in the poker room, and we had been there all night. Leave the poker room, go to walk around. Me and Duggar did. We come back into the poker room. It's like 2 or 3 in the morning, and we go to our buddy who was in there still playing, and he's like, "Hey, check out who's at that table back there." Turn around and look. Freaking Nelly sitting at the table, no entourage, no big crew or anything. He was just sitting at the middle of this table, and I ended up asking the like pit boss. I was like, "How much does it cost to sit down at that table?" He was like, "That's got a $200 minimum buy-in." Well, I'm 23. It's not like I have all the money in the world. I counted up exactly how much money I had. I had $215. So I spent the 200 bucks to go cash it in for chips. I sat down at that table. I played 3 hands. In 3 hands, I lost 50 bucks. And then I put my chips back in the thing, got up and left. But I sat down at a table with Nelly for 3 hands. Oh, never forget it. Back to me here. Harold Fannin, Michael Pitt, go. Michael Pittman, Harold Fannin, go.
Pittman.
Pittman. All right, Pittman.
Did I just put that? Did that just go in the
You
chat?
just put that in the chat, yeah.
I go on because like it's got the little like symbol down there. I've never seen that. And I just clicked. I was like, oh, what's this do? So don't do that at all. Like,
Well, I mean, I guess someone could. Maybe
yeah, but like
streaming
you
or
check
looking
out
to
our
level
streamer.
up.
Oh, we get a $10 discount. Okay, I had no idea what it was. But yeah. But yeah, Pittman for me, like, and Fannon's fine. Yeah, I like Fannin as a player, but I haven't clicked a lot. But yeah, I mean, Zero and I are on Pittman. Yeah, Pittman just feels like free money at his ADP.
I've been taking a lot of Pittman.
I
It's
mean,
just with no tight
yeah,
end yet. That's where
he
I was
just
like,
feels like a perfect Rodgers guy as far as just volume, volume, volume in an offense that should be a lot more pass heavy with it being the McCarthy offense. So
yeah,
yeah, I mean Pittman just feels like free money.
it's free money. And he's my fourth. So I've got a quarterback, I've got Lamar, I've got 4 running backs, 4 wide receivers. It's back to my pick. Jacoby's still there. Kittle or Kelsey, or just go get Andrews. What do you think? Andrews, Kittle, Kelsey.
I mean, I like Kittle and Kelsey a lot more than Andrews, but I guess like it depends on what kind of
Oh,
discount
well,
you're getting.
never mind. I waited too long and I ended up getting Jacoby. So that's all right. That's not
All
the end
right,
of the world.
all right,
Jacoby's still fine.
sure.
Zero said Fannin is great in the strange Jawan range. I would love
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
if I was getting round 15 Fannin, I'd click it every time, right?
Every time. 100%. Cool Smurfer says, why did I do $1 slow drafts, buddy?
Are those
Oh,
the
seriously.
Dalmatians still doing
Yeah,
those?
the Dalmatians.
Oh my
He
gosh, that's
he
funny.
clicked on a bunch of the Dalmatian slows. Oh man. Well, you know what? At least you got something to look at.
I
There's
did
that at
actually
least, right?
consider like I every time I think about doing I haven't, but I need to probably get some slows going just to like time killers. Is like, in between drafts or if I just yeah, whatever. But I don't have any slows going right now.
You should, me.
I
I
know it would be like kind of Brett's point, like trying to just max everything.
hmm
Yeah.
and I
Like
don't try,
I need to be better about it.
but I don't try to max everything. I know you're not trying to max everything
No, but
either.
I guess like get closer to max and like not I'm not gonna max the 150s, but yeah.
Zero says Brett the sicko. um, it's good bathroom material. Yeah, see, that's what slow drafts are good for.
Yeah.
Anytime you can just stay sitting on the pot for a
I know.
while.
Yeah, say my wife would love that. She already thinks that she's like, what are you doing there for that long? It's like, it's my only alone time. Let me have it.
Like, just leave me be,
Just
woman.
leave me be. Don't tell me my business, devil woman.
Don't tell me my business, devil woman. Don't put it out with your boots, Ted. Big year 2 for Higgins coming, calling it. I hope so, bud. I've got a lot of Jaden Higgins. I hope so.
Yeah, I've got a fair amount of yeah, him and Stroud and Texan stacks. Like whenever after our last stream when I was looking on VIP, I was like, I feel like my Houston stacks kind of starting to get up there. And it's like maybe my fourth or fifth highest stack team, so it's not that bad.
Dude, got the Mark Andrews fall back around. Perfect. Perfect. Now the Jacoby feels that much better. That worked out. Muy bueno. Not the 150s here, but the 20 to 50s. Yeah. Gotcha. I agree with that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, not to max out the 150s, but if had I known I was going to be shut out of, like the location thing or whatever and I wasn't going to have time to to do more, then I would have started some slow ones just to be able to not make sure that I knocked them out. Like I had a 45-minute Uber ride yesterday, it would have been perfect.
Zero has a recommendation. Don't waste your time with doing 10 to 15 slows. Just if you're going to do slows, go balls to the wall. Have
Right.
150 to 200 at a time.
You're just always making plays.
Just constantly.
That's exactly what I would expect him to do.
All right. Stroud, Cam Ward. Help. Cam
What?
Ward. I said
Yeah,
Stroud or Cam Ward.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm a Cam Ward guy.
I didn't have any stack pieces, but it's all right. I don't need stack pieces. I didn't have them either way. Actually, I have Pollard now that I think about it. So I did kind of have a Titan.
Right.
I have
Okay.
a Titan.
So I think I'm gonna jump, but if you are depending on, like, I'll turn the stream on and everything, and keep an eye on it. And if you guys are doing one, I can let you know if I'm down or not. But
Yeah, no problem, buddy. No problem. Sounds
what would
good.
it be? What would it be? What tournament? What were you
Well,
thinking?
we'll see. We'll see if we stay on.
Okay.
I may not, because I want to sit and do a bunch at once. I want to close. I got to do 5 German Shepherds, but Superflex, it's at 96.2.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to do them all right now and do 5 at once. So that's going to be a little bit too hard for me to do on stream. So
Yeah. No, I get, because I've got to get up in the morning and stuff. So it's probably for the best that I don't. But then I'm here for another night. So
well, I appreciate you jumping on and saying hey with us.
Yeah,
Zero and
no,
I we were just talking earlier about missing not having you here.
Yeah, no, I appreciate everybody hopping on and stuff. Looks like you guys are having a good night. I just wanted to. I wish I would have been able to catch it. I was just like probably like 2 minutes too late, but yeah, I wanted to hop on and say what's up.
What it is, homie. What it is.
Do y'all? But all right, well, happy draft.
Yep.
Draft the right players.
Thanks, buddy.
Good luck out there. But I'll be back Saturday.
Yep, we'll be back Saturday.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right,
I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Sounds good. See you, buddy.
See ya.
See you guys.
All right.
Almost end the stream. Wait, real quick. How do I get out so I don't end the stream?
Like you see leave studio. There's a button that says leave studio.
It's like I almost.
I'm glad you didn't hit end stream.
And it said it was like end stream. I was like, I feel like I'm not supposed to do that.
No, don't do that.
Oh God, how do I get out? What am I doing? No, oh my God, I'm freaking out. What do I do? How do I get out?
It's down at the bottom. It says leave studio. Like on the computer, it's on the bottom.
Oh, I know that, but like it says, this is such good content.
Just swipe up and close it out that way. Just do that.
Okay.
There you go. That should do the trick. There we go. All right, and the stream's still going. So, Zero, I was wondering. You let him fall to me, so I went ahead and did it. He says the team is dead. Well, your team died so that mine could survive. I appreciate it, my friend. Okay, so I've got Mark Andrews. Do I want to go ahead and grab Hawkinson here or get Algier? I'm going to go with my guy Algier. I'll push the tight ends, and I'll go with 3. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. The purple Yosh said the man was trapped. He was trapped. Earlier, Cool Smurfer said 30 to 50 is his sweet spot for slow drafts. 30 to 50. All right. So let's take a look here. I haven't even got a chance while we've been talking to take a look at your guys' team. So we've got Zero here at 1. We've got Cleves at 10. So we're coming to Zero's pick. Let's catch up with what he's done. So we know the Gibbs pick, then London, Josh Allen, Burden, DJ Moore, former teammates. DJ Moore pairs with Josh Allen, Chuba Hubbard, and Jalen Warren. So you've got 3 nice running backs there. Ricky Pearsall, who still is alive. Kyle Pitts and Kelsey back-to-back. Jaden Higgins, and then CJ Stroud. I'm glad I didn't take Stroud and left you Stroud so that you could get that there. And then pair him with Woody Marks, too. you went ahead and got Debo. So just in case he does resign with San Fran, you've got Debo and Ricky, and then Brian Robinson Jr. So love what you're doing here, as always, Zero. All right, Cleves, it's my pick, and then let's take a run through on your team. So I think for me, go with Gunnar Helm. Okay, so Cleves from pick 10 has gone CeeDee Lamb, Saquon Barkley, ETN, then T. Higgins and Jamison Williams. A lot of ceiling and upside there. Tyler Warren, who I love, Herbert and Dart back to back. Then Kenny G, Cha-ching, there's a money pick. Jordan Mason, Rashid Shaheed, and Sam Darnold. Like that combo as well. You've got 3 good quarterbacks. You've got access to nice ceiling. Darnold provides you a 4. Jawan Johnson as your tight end 2 to Warren. You're lucky at that. I also took Jawan instead of Tucker. When I took Tucker, that allowed you to get Jawan. Jonah Coleman, got like I've always say, love counting on him in an anti-Dobbins build. I don't ever take him with Dobbins. Well, unless I'm trying to do all 3. I do have, I think, 2 or 3 teams out of all of them I've done where I've taken Harvey, Dobbins, and Coleman. Adonai Mitchell and Darnell Mooney. So you've got a 3-5-6-2 Cleves with 2 more picks. Really like the start to this team. I'm not a big fan of Mooney here, but he's a stack piece with Dart, and I know that's why you went ahead and did that now. Although you probably could have got him. But if you wanted to just go ahead and lock him up, I don't have a problem with that. I would have preferred to try to push him to around 17 and then got him. But as a result, I have a 2-5-6-2. Well, I'm just going to keep taking my guy and go ahead and grab another Zachariah Branch. I mean, when he's available at the top, I just like him so much more than Jerry Jeudy or Calvin Ridley. So just keep doing it. Why not? Why not? Okay, really like our teams. Let's go run back over here and see. So Purple Yosh says, I agree with that number. I'm not quite sure which number you're agreeing to, Purple Yosh. It was whenever I was just talking, I know. Zero says paired Ricky with Debo since both are alive. That's right. I hope he doesn't go to the 49ers. Yeah, I hope Debo goes to the Commanders. I want him to just go back there. I mean, there's the perfect spot for him. Now, all of my Antonio Williams bags hope he doesn't, but I think that he's just set up just to lay up to go back to Washington. I mean, I guess the Diggs thing is still in play there as well. Certainly they're going to do something, though, because Ayuk is dead at this point. Like, there's no way that the Ayuk thing is happening. All right, so Zero went ahead and grabbed Calvin Ridley. He said he's not afraid to grab him at the end of this draft. I could have as a pair thing if I really wanted to, since I had Cam Ward and Gunnar Helm, but yeah, it's all right. I like the upside of Branch there. Pat Freiermuth getting a 3rd tight end. So now as we're coming back around, so 3 tight ends went. I probably now, looking back though, I probably should have taken Ferguson instead of Branch and pushed it, but I do have Andrews and Gunner. I would have liked had I been able to get Terrence Ferguson, though. Got access to that ceiling. What other tight end has some true ceiling here? I mean, I think there's only one more to pick, and that's exactly that's the one. That's the one. Because God forbid something happens to Bowers, but if it does, then we could see an explosion, but we could still see him be good even with Bowers staying healthy. I'm going to star him. I should be able to take him with the come around. Let's double check. 3, 2, 2, 3. Cleves, I don't think you would take him. Oh, well, I just waited too long. Nope, I'm taking him now. I was trying to scout this out so I could go back and see, but nope, it's all right. It is all right. We'll just go ahead and lock him up, and I'll take whatever wide receiver makes it back around. So Cleves grabs Surratt. after Surratt. Let's see what he does. Let's see what you do. Well, this has been a great night of drafting. Cool Smurfer, thanks, buddy. If Bowers ever misses a game, Mayor will project for double-digit points. I think so too, buddy. I do. And this year, now last year, Bowers missed some time and it didn't happen for Michael Mayer. But last year was a complete difference than the Raiders this year. Last year was a disaster, as we all know, just from a team in general, just a disaster of a season. And this year, it's going to be better. And I'm in on Mendoza. I just am at this point. Zero, I did it last year. Started Mayer and managed leagues. Me too. As soon as Bowers went down, I snagged Mayer, and I actually already had it. Like, there's a dynasty league that I have Brock Bowers that I also own Michael Mayer. And so I already had him in that. I picked him up in a couple others. All right. Well, do I want another running back or wide receiver? There's no other running back I want. I'm going Dontavian Wicks. Well, maybe. Yep, going Dontavian Wicks. Okay. Only had 2 games, though, so I had Bowers, so I picked up Mayer. Yeah, well, and again, last year they were a disaster. Got Trey Tucker at 183 in Superflex. Ooh, nice. Zero says not in my pods, but he had to brag because it's not in a draft with Zero. I love it though. 183. What did I take him at in this draft? 152. So 183. That is 16-3. Woo! That is late. The same exact spot that Cleves took Mooney in this draft. You got Trey Tucker. That is beautiful, Brett. BEA, beautiful. Needed it too. Oh, yeah. Zero is jelly. He is jelly. Okay, let's see what the Mr. Irrelevant pick is. Is that Jahan Dotson? Do I see Jahan Dotson? I sure do. Jahan Dotson. Well, that is an interesting Mr. Irrelevant pick, Zero. Interesting indeed, my friend. Okay. Well, guys, let's go review our teams. And then, boys, I think I am going to call it for the night. It's been a long day. I've been streaming for 2.5 hours. And like I said, I want to go ahead and finish these super flex before this contest fills. And I want to do that off stream and just do all 5 at once. If anyone wants to come draft with me, come do that over there. Even if Branch takes over eventually, Dotson will pay off. Hey, maybe, my friend, maybe. Okay, let me go ahead and kick these off the stage. Let's take a gander at our teams. So this one, we'll start with pick number 1, who was Zero at pick 1. So Zero went with a 2-5-8-3. His 2 being Josh Allen and CJ Stroud. With Josh Allen, I think that is perfectly fine to go CJ Stroud as the 2. Your 5, Gibbs, Chuba, Warren, and then Woody and B-Rob, all with different buys. Woody with a stack. Yeah, I am completely good with this because I think Gibbs, Chuba, and Warren are going to cover you just fine. And then whatever you get with Woody and Robinson. Your wide receiver grouping is pretty nice too. London, Burden, it's unique. DJ Moore, Ricky Pearsall, Jaden Higgins, Debo, Calvin Ridley, and the aforementioned Jahan Dotson to go along with Pitts, Kelsey, and Freiermuth. Where did Tua go? Tua went the pick after you took Freiermuth. So theoretically, you could have taken Tua instead of Freiermuth. And in my opinion, I think that may have been a better move, Zero. What do you think? Looking back at this, you have Pitts, you took Dotson, you have London. Would you have rather taken Tua and had that option for him having some big weeks with those guys than have taken Freiermuth, which is really more of a floor play? I guess he had that one big game last year. Or was that 2 years ago? Freiermuth generally doesn't have access to much ceiling, though. But I know he did do it at least once, twice in the last 2 years. Have a big game. All right. Next up, let me go see actually what you said real quick if you answered. I was considering Tua, but I would have passed CJ earlier. But since I got CJ back, didn't want to do third QB. Got it. All right. Before I finish this out, Vegeta Super Saiyan, what's up, buddy? He says, "What up? In your opinion, who has more upside, Igbuka without Evans or McConkey with McDaniels now? I like drafting 2 RBs in first 3 rounds. To me, after round 3, the RB drop off is huge. Who do you like round 4? My opinion, I'm a Lad guy. I would rather bet on Lad. I've seen him be better. Granted, we've had 2 years. He wasn't great last year, I know. But I trust in Herbert more. I trust in that offense more in general. With that said, I'm a Baker fan. I do think Igbuka is a good pick. But I will pick Lad a good amount more often than I will pick Igbuka, because there's also more week 10 buys than there is 7 that I like as we move across. Plus, from a stack later on perspective, I would rather stack Chargers pieces than I would Buccaneers. However, I do like to stack the Buccaneers, and I do it as a trio almost exclusively, where I always will go with Godwin and then Baker, or then Ken Gainwell and then Baker. I've done that in many drafts. It's going to be one of my highest owned trios of the stack in general. So generally, I may pass on Igbuka, but I do think that he is a good pick, that it should be mixed in probably more than I take him, which is around a 4% clip, compared to, I'm probably closer to like a 9 to 10% clip in Lad, just as an example. But yeah, and then Zero says, why those 2 though? Why not get Tet, Waddle, Evans? Well, and see, my highest drafted in that range is Evans. That's who I get the most. And then I also mix in Waddle and Tet, which is why I don't get very much Igbuka. So that's my answer there. But yeah, I think it's a great question. Okay, I'm going to go back to Cleve's team. Cleve's went with a 3-5-8-2. Justin Herbert, Jackson Dart, Sam Darnold. Saquon, Etienne, Kenny G, Jordan Mason, and Jonah Coleman. 3 10s. I think that's probably fine, but in that week, you're going to have to rely on Etienne and Mason only. So probably fine, because I think that your top of Saquon, it's a little risky, but I like that overall. CeeDee Lamb, T. Higgins, Jamison Williams, very strong start to your wide receiver room. Rashid Shaheed, A.D. Mitchell, Mooney, Surratt, and Franklin. Some nice late pieces you added in. You get the upside of Shaheed, and I think A.D. Mitchell has upside. Mooney's a question mark. And then Tyler Warren and Jawan Johnson, that's lock and loaded 2 combo. I think you've got a very strong team. I like your stack pieces. I wish you could have got a Charger stack to go with Herbert. I'm sure you probably were planning on it and it just didn't happen. That would have been nice had you had some piece instead of the naked Herbert. But you know what? Naked Herbert had to happen at some point tonight. Okay, so I went with a 2-5-8-3 this time. Now, can Lamar and Cam Ward work as a duo? Maybe. It's going to take, in my opinion, Lamar smashing. I probably should have taken a third. That immediately jumps out to me, that I don't know that those 2 are good enough. But if Lamar does the killer MVP Lamar thing again, then I'll be fine, especially if Cam Ward does get the ascension that I expect. But overall, I feel a little light on my QB room. But I got the nice stack pieces of Zay, Derrick Henry, and Mark Andrews. So at running back, I like my running back room quite a bit. Henry, Scatabo, Pollard, Ramondre, and then Algier, all different buys. Pollard does stack up with Cam Ward. If you count them as a stack, I kind of do. I don't have any wide receiver stack pieces. I do have Gunnar Helm also stacked with Cam Ward, and then the Michael Mayer. So week 13, I'm only going to have Gunnar. Again, if you're going to have that a weak position. It's on any given 1 week, it should be tight end because that's the position that scores the least amount to begin with. My wide receivers, Amon-Ra, Zay, Jaden Reed, Pittman, Jacoby, Trey Tucker, Branch, and Wicks. I like my wide receiver room quite a bit. In retrospect, I don't know that I needed Jaden Reed. I think I would have probably been fine if I would have known that I could have got Pittman and Myers. I could have taken something else instead of Reed, maybe a better tight end one there. So that's probably what I would have done to change it up, or grabbed a better quarterback 2 there in that round. But overall, pretty good. Says, I like Baker as my QB2 in redraft. I think he finishes last year at a discount this year. Everyone is healthy. I think Baker has his bounce back. You can choose Baker or Shuck. Give me Baker. I take them both. And I think I take more Baker, though. Still haven't done our shares review video, but I will let you know my exposure right now. It's Baker. It's by a ton. So out of 403 teams from the main board, Cam Ward, number 1 with 14%. That's just because of how late he goes. Malik Willis, I like gambling on him. And then Baker, my QB I spend up on the most, Jaden Daniels. Baker's 12%. Jaden's 12%. And then my 11 percenters are Shuck. Not a surprise there. Mendoza, 11%. And Gino, 11%. That's probably too much Gino. I get that. Those are my 11% or higher. Only one guy that's a high pick. That's Jaden. And I guess Baker, Shuck, and Malik are those mid-level. Zero says his most drafted QBs are May, Dart, and Lamar. Oh, so your most drafted are the high ones. Interesting. I think it's fine with 2 QBs, Spencer. Yeah, probably. But yeah, May, Dart, and Lamar. That's, I see. I like that you are spending up very often on those guys to get the big name QBs as your most drafted 1-0. Very nice. The elite QB prices are too cheap compared to Stafford tier. You are right. I have not gone elite QB probably enough. But again, I mix things up a lot, as you know, as you've done enough drafts with me to know. My other high-end QB, so 6% Dart, 6% Allen, 6% Lamar, 8% Herbert, 8% Hurts, 9% Mahomes, 9% Purdy, 9% Knicks. And then, of course, other people mixed in there. Stroud, 9%, Geno, 9%, Darnold, 9%, Daniel Jones, 9%, Aaron Rodgers, 8%. So, I mix all of those guys in there a lot. My low ones, Joe Burrow, 5%, Trevor Lawrence, 4%, Caleb, 4%, Stafford, 4%, Kyler, 4%. This is probably my worst decision. Dak, 2% Dak. I know that I'm probably way too low on Dak, but yeah, I do mix it up a lot. That's for sure. Vegeta says safest, you can never go wrong. Always beats his ADP. You can also get him as your QB2. Jared Goff is safe as pick as Amon-Ra St. Brown. Love Goff as my QB2. I just don't like get stack relying on Arizona, Falcons, Browns, QB, so I spend up. Well, for sure. You notice I didn't say Jacoby Brissett, Tua, or any of the Browns guys. I'm 1%. So I am 1% Penix. Sorry, 0% Penix. Took it $5. So one puppy probably. 0% Carson Beck, 1% Deshaun, 1% Sanders. I am 4% Brissett. Who's the other one? Tua. 5% Tua. So yeah. So anyway. Okay. Yeah, Goff is great. Goff, I want to move up. Now he's a low one that it's just because he gets sacrificed because of where I've been taking other people there. Goff is not someone I actively try to avoid, but the 4% of Goff, that's low that I also want to bump that up in the rest of my drafts. So, okay, guys, this was super awesome. I had a great night, as always, drafting with you guys. Zero, super thank you, as always, for coming on. But everybody else, I couldn't appreciate you all more. I loved the fake raid Debo news that happened tonight, guys. That was a lot of fun. Very fun stream, Hero. I appreciate you as always. And then I will have the Stack Man back with me Saturday night. We will jump back in. Hopefully, we'll have a new tournament on Underdog. But if not, well, you know what? We'll probably just see what's there. We may do some millionaires again. Who knows? Who knows? But I'm going to go jump in, close out that Superflex contest. So if anyone wants to draft, come draft with me over there. I'm going to get in the next 5 drafts. So I'm going to be doing them all at once. So guys, have a great night. Until next time, keep drafting. See y'all.